We're possibly live. I believe that we are.
Yes.
So welcome to this episode 0 of the Sentinel Comics role-playing game live, which we're going to do. So this is a completely new group for anyone that watched it before, and this is a completely new GM, a completely new session. So we're going to go around and introduce people, and then I'll talk a little bit about like, why are we doing a new thing with a new group and what's going on, and then we'll go start making characters. So today is we're going to make characters, go through character creation, and then we'll start playing next week. So I'm Paul. I'm one of the owners of Greater Than Games. I'm the CEO, and I have a lot of experience running RPGs. I've been GMing in particular for about half my life. So I'm running this session this week.
I'm Jen. I'm sure a few of you have seen me on live streams with Maggie. I'm the creative director for Greater Than Games, and I'm super excited to build this character that I've been thinking about for weeks now.
Oh, y'all have characters, is great. Hi, I'm Matt. I'm the inventory manager and everything else and hanging pictures guy at Greater Than Games. And this is gonna be good. Yeah.
I'm Chris. I'm the playtest manager and backup Christopher.
Other Christopher.
And I'm Jodie. I'm the shipping princess at Greater Than Games. I basically have a warehouse manager job, essentially. And I've been playing
clerk job.
Yeah.
And a receiving clerk job.
And I've been I've been playing RPGs for a long time, and I'm really excited to play. So that sounds like my kind of thing.
Yeah. So what we're going to do here, so today's character creation, and the last session that we ran, Christopher was running it. Christopher is super familiar with the Sentinel Comics RPG because he's one of the main writers for it, and he's doing a lot of stuff on there, and he's done all the development in there, and he's very deep into it. So we wanted to show you another session run by a completely different person, A, because Christopher and I have fairly different GMing styles, and B, because when I'm running this is going to be a bit more like how most people are going to experience running this game, because I've read through this book a few times, but that's about it. I did not write this book, so I don't have it entirely memorized. And so as we're going to go through the book, sometimes I'll mess up, but I will tell you what the rule is, and then it's correct then, and then if I'll go get corrected later, and I'll tell you next session, oh, I messed up a little bit, it's fine. But I've read through it, I'm familiar with it. This is exactly the level of preparedness I would have if I were running any other RPG, one that Greater Than Games didn't prepare. So this is going to be kind of like intro to that, or just seeing what that looks like. So today's character creation, everyone has in front of you the actually laid out character creation chapter 3. So this is mostly laid out. It's not final art. There's some tweaks that are going to be made to layout, but this is way farther along than it's ever been before.
About the redacted art.
Yeah, like the giant. No, the actual book is going to have a bunch of just black rectangles in it. It's part of the theme.
Right,
It's essential.
You put your hand on there, and the warmth from your hand makes
There are actually chalkboards in the final book so that you can make chalk notes and then erase them.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very hip now, but you have to use a wet rag.
Right, no, it's wet erase chalk. Right. That's what it is. So, here's your wet erase book.
None of this is
chapter.
true. Nothing I say is true.
Right. So this is what we're going to use for character creation. Now, some of you might really like to read 90-page RPG chapters a bunch, which is definitely me. Why I am always the GM, which is what I did earlier today. But there are two different methods of character creation in here. The main method that it describes is what it calls the guided method, and the guided method is specifically to make it so you don't have to read 90 pages of an RPG of RPG charts. Everything you need to know is in the first 6 pages of this book, and then it just kind of guides you through a few other things that you need to read as you make your character. The other method, so how guided works is you go through the series of steps and you roll dice, and the dice give you choices, and all you have to read is the things that pop up for those choices. The constructed method, you go through the exact same steps in the exact same order, but you just make every single choice along the way. So if you're the kind of person that's new to RPGs or has a lot of analysis paralysis about what to make as a character, the constructed method is a lot more time consuming and maybe intimidating. So that's why we suggest for newer players the guided method, but the constructed method is perfectly good. So I know some of you have character concepts that you have already. Yep. So I kind of want to go around and have everyone like vaguely describe what they're going for, and then we'll go around and start making stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Same order?
Yeah, same order. Let's go.
Okay.
Go clockwise. It's like a clock.
So rough concept, definitely may change.
Yeah.
Is that I am crafting a woman whose day job is an art teacher / she owns and runs a gallery. And she has the ability to essentially draw things into reality. How that works and why that is still being fleshed out. So we'll see how it goes.
Cool. So I feel like, given like that level of
Yeah.
stuff and like your personality and stuff like that, the guided method would probably work really well for you.
Yeah, I have a bunch of ideas about why she can do this, or a
Yeah.
background of how it happened,
Right.
or different how it works. So yeah, I'm curious to see how much of this changes my preconceived ideas of what I want to do, and how much of it I'm like, oh yeah, that works.
Sweet.
So we'll see how it goes.
So I have a little bit more than Jenn, but not like, there are certain touchstones that I need to hit on. Mainly a name, because that's how I think about a thing, is I come up with
Right.
a name for a character and then build a character that works with that name, because I think it's funny and it makes me giggle.
Right.
So, so yeah, my character is going to have, like, the first is going to be a strong guy
Sure.
of some kind.
Yeah.
And then is also going to be a musician. So he's a bard, right? But with manipulation powers.
Oh, sweet.
So that's the
Yeah.
the bread and butter of the character, and then everything else can kind of slot in as needed.
Cool.
Or what makes sense for the system.
Sweet.
I tend to do things by making backstories, names. Like I come
Yeah.
up with all of that first, and then I sort of build a character around that.
That's funny. This is the opposite of what I do.
so-
That's really
Yeah.
interesting.
Her name is Juno. Her superhero name is Mishap, and she makes technology fall apart, and can put things back together, but it never works quite the same and might explode.
Right. So,
like it.
But exactly how that's going
making
to
you-
work with the system, I'm letting the dice decide
Yeah.
that.
okay, cool.
Jenn and I are
See,
making
that's
ourselves. He
kinda-
made you.
That's
Yeah.
kind of how I am. Like, I have a whole backstory and a name and everything, but I'm curious to see how much of that changes
Yeah.
through the system.
And I was going
Right.
to say,
Yeah.
given how like solidified some parts of your concept are, you might want to do like some partially constructed. The other thing is you're not
Yeah.
tied into anything anytime.
Yeah,
and
and
you
we'll-
can always like re-roll. Like it's just like the guided method is just to like narrow down your choices.
I mean, if the dice say that she's going to get put in a power suit because that's the only thing holding her together, I'm probably not going to take that part.
right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really wanted to start by making a character that was like a 6-year-old that was super fascinated with bubbles. And and so I started planning out that character, and then I realized that everything about that will become really dark really fast. So what I did instead was I started planning out a character that is an alien that looks like a 6-year-old that has some sort of ability to make bubbles in the air. So
And is full of childlike joy.
yeah.
Would you say?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That
and
sounds good.
a little bit of bitterness.
Okay. I'm interested to see. Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, there's no way. that's
Existential
gonna be-
Yeah,
crisis.
no, that's
6-year-old is
not
fine.
going to get dark, so we're fine.
Yeah,
I think
no,
we're
it's
like,
just-
wait, okay.
yep.
This
So,
one's set in Rook
so we're going to
right?
start going, and we're going to do, yeah.
The chat says your hair's really cute.
Oh, thanks, chat.
And would
Thanks,
also
chat.
like to see your tattoo.
Oh,
If you
really?
could hold that.
Yeah, it's probably all right because I was leaning against the table.
Matt's
This
one
is-
tattoo.
This is my only tattoo. You got this all done in one go. Yeah, Adam drew this up for me about 2-3 weeks before Gen Con, and like, I had a tattoo appointment and everything. And yeah, I think it came out great. It's healing up very nicely.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah.
it fits so nice in that spot.
Well, yeah, when it got done, Adam was like, that's bigger than I thought it was going to be. And I was like, no, that's how big the hole was. Like, that's how much skin I had left to cover, because I hate this. I'm a redhead covered in freckles and I get sunburned. I'm going to decorate this because it's not allowed outside.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, let us know if there's any other like chat things that come up.
Yeah.
So what I'd say is we're going to do this mostly simultaneous, like Spirit Island. So I'll go through like kind of the system, and then we'll kind of talk through talk to everyone. We'll kind of go back and forth, like see what different people are doing, and then at the end of it, everyone say like, "Now this is the character I made," kind of as it goes through. But if you turn to chapter, like it's page like 54 or something, there's like a chart in there.
50 step by step.
Sure, yeah, that's the one. What
Yeah,
page is it?
52.
Yeah, this.
And by 52, I mean it's the fourth page. Third
Asterisk, these pages are not final at all in any way.
page. I'm getting rid
These
of
numbers
them.
are placeholders. That's definitely going to be higher than 52. There's no possible way
yes.
this page 52.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this kind of guides you through the steps. So you see the first thing that you do is your background. So as you're going to always want to have that page open. So when this is a book, what I would do is I'd bookmark this page and then I'd flip to the various
rip it
charts.
out. We
you go
should
through.
perforate it.
You're right,
Yeah,
yes.
that's-
Rip it out. Like specifically in Dead
The
Poet
Biden
Society,
book.
like you put the,
Yes.
rip it out, J. Edgar Pritchard. Okay, so,
Good movie.
yep, so you're going to want that chart, but then you're going to want to turn to the various charts as you go through.
Yeah.
So on the facing page, there's powers and qualities, which you're going to periodically choose from, which is why they're right there. But then first thing you're going to roll for is background. So if you turn the page,
Wow.
yeah, there you go. So, and if you look on the first chart, it'll say to like roll 2d10s or something, and then choose a background. So everyone can do that. And whenever you're rolling dice, you either take an individual result of one of the individual results of one of the dice, or the sum of two of the dice.
Mine would be
Right, 6, 3, or 9.
Which works out great, because that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Perfect. So then you just write them down.
Yep.
And so you write down that background, but that background has various consequences. So now, as you're looking through there, so you can do that. You can write down the background, and it has various qualities that you can take. So if you look on that first page, it'll tell you what to take from your background too. So if you are looking over here, Jodie, so you roll 2d10s and do the thing, like everyone's been doing. And then, so you record your background in the characteristics section, and the background will always provide you with some qualities and the dice to roll for power source. Oh, and also a principle.
Okay.
So you can kind of go through this. So this is there's kind of a lot going on in this step.
Okay.
So it'll list specifically the qualities that you get,
You pick 2.
and then
Ooh, this could work.
it'll give you a category of principle. And if you to choose a particular principle, you turn to the principles chart, which is toward the back of the
So you
page.
get all of these qualities, and
Yes.
you assign 2 of the dice to
Right.
them. Okay.
So I got Dynasty or Adventurer, both of which actually work with her backstory very well.
So, yeah. So you and I have talked about your character a little bit.
Yep.
And so what would Adventurer Mishap look like? Like, how does this change the character, or the arch character concept?
So the part of her backstory is that she's from a slightly different universe, and during the Oblivion fight, she got hit by a wave of entropic energy that kind of soaked into her, and she started tearing holes in reality, which is why she's here now.
Right.
And
know,
the Dynasty
stuff.
version would be
Things.
basically her mother, in her reality, is Rose Griggs, who is the Chaos Witch that gave Unity her powers inadvertently.
Sure.
But in that universe, she was just someone who had chaos magic that caused her to live a very weird life until she had a kid, and those powers passed down to Juno. And now Juno is trying to take control of her destiny, otherwise the magic inside of her is just going to rage out of control and do weird stuff that she can't control. The Adventurer version would be slightly different in that the Adventurer version is a bit more determined to take over her destiny and sort of take the reins and make the best of it. It's sort of a difference between am I struggling to sort of adjust to this new world and understand my powers,
Or are you gung ho about
or am I just like, yes, this is who I am. This is where I am now. I'll just deal with this.
it? Which is interesting to just be like, yeah, this stuff breaks all the time, but like, I'm gonna do it because I can.
Yeah,
Like to be
and
adventurous about a power set or a concept like your character has.
At least in my head, I sort of had this where before she understood she had powers, weird things just happened. Like, she'd deposit a check and an ATM would break, or she'd go somewhere and end up being a hostage in a bank robbery. And like, in my head, it's like, and the fourth time that happened to me, I decided, no more of that.
Gotcha.
If we don't.
What if we try something else?
So
when you're looking up,
So I'm actually leaning towards adventure
I
because
think that makes it more fun. So one of the things that I always like in an RPG,
It can be more lighthearted too.
well, that's it. It doesn't have to be super dark and grim and stuff like that, because like we already know Jodie's character. Her 6-year-old is going to be the darkest,
oh
grimmest
yeah,
thing in the
total
world.
grim dark.
But like, also like, whenever I run any game of any sort, I'm like, I get to the core of what the game is trying to do with a character, and I go, oh, you're all adventurers. That is the only thing that I care about, is that you're adventurers. I don't care about you meeting in a bar and I don't care about that stuff. Like, I care that all of you all the players want to buy into the conceit. And all of these characters should buy into the conceit of being superheroes, right?
Yeah.
Like, they shouldn't, like, they can be reluctant superheroes, but they should have the drive to do it.
It's something else to think about while you're doing it. Like I completely agree with that kind of thing. And and my plan is that you all already know each other.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
have
God,
like
it's so much
it,
better.
to some extent, and already
You and I
kind
have talked about this
exactly. You're
extensively. We're
right.
like,
You're doing something. I always
no.
start game like the trope of now we're meeting tends to make for a very boring session, first session in my experience. So I don't like it, so I don't do it. You just
What
know
I-
each other. Just
what
tell me
I-
why you know each other
Right, I'd rather
before we
those
start
be
the first
retcon
session.
things. Be like,
Right.
remember that adventure we went on? You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that happened
That
for sure.
totally
That's
rad
canon
adventure,
now.
which was
And
real.
I don't
It
care.
says to watch maybe for it because you don't want
Oh, okay.
Yes, because we definitely saw the inside of your brain. Because yeah, those are the two main feats for
Yeah,
the sides here.
That's cool.
And I like Trevor was kind enough to put these post-it notes up here because I found, especially when I was sitting on this side, I would just never look at that, like look directly at that camera.
Yeah.
I'd search for it when I was trying to like address chat
Oh, yeah.
because of where it falls in the room.
Yeah.
Everyone else can't see it, but I've got a blue wall here and I've got an orange wall here, and that camera falls directly on the line. And so it just disappears.
Yeah.
Because there's these bright colors and these dark colors, and then it just disappears. And it was always hard for me to be like, where am I supposed to be looking to talk to chat? Oh, right there, right at this bright
We also
pink
discovered that that wall is a color blindness trap for Trevor because the green square and the orange wall, Trevor can't see.
thing. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he just tries to walk through it like it's a tunnel painted on it.
Yes, that's exactly how
That's
it
how that
works.
works,
Yeah.
right?
So I have
You figured it out.
So
Reality
to answer
blindness.
your question from before, Matt, really quick, when there's more than 2 qualities that it says under that given background, you choose only 2 of them. And if you've got a page along to the description of that particular background, it'll tell you 2 dice, and it'll say assign these 2 dice to any 2 of these qualities. You only get 2 of them, but you choose
Oh, you only
which.
get to keep.
Yes, you only get 2 of the
Yeah.
qualities, but you
Gotcha.
choose which 2.
That was
I
the
have kind
question.
of an interesting thing going on that kind of touches
Yeah.
on where we were saying like keeping it lighthearted and things like that. So I actually rolled an 8 and an 8. So
Yes.
that narrowed down my choices
Yes,
a little
that
bit.
is true.
But it works for one of the backstories that I had in mind. So something that I have just known to be a truth about my character is that she is in a wheelchair.
Sure.
And so the thing I was trying to decide was, why is that? Is
Right.
that the way it's always been? Did something happen? What's going on? And how that shapes her? Because the whole idea is that she doesn't see that as a limitation. She just sees it as a different way of interacting
Right, yeah.
with the world around her or whatever. But number 8 is tragic for her background. So I can use that and I can craft a background
Yeah.
around that.
That makes sense.
But then does that, there's a way that I can use that and still keep it lighthearted, right? I don't
yeah.
have to keep it like this heavy
No.
tragedy. And the reason I asked was because in the description for tragic, it says your history is eclipsed by a major negative event that has shaped the rest of your life. You struggle to overcome the memory of the tragic event, be it the loss of a loved one or something that happened to you directly. Either way, the tragedy fuels and haunts you.
Yeah.
That works, except that I would prefer to lean more on the fact that it just kind of fuels her and shapes who she is, less about the fact that it haunts her. It's just
Yeah.
something that she...
And you can go with that kind of any direction
cool.
you want. And you can make it be to maybe maybe the tragedy is unrelated to why
Yeah,
she's in
like-
a wheelchair, or maybe it is related to
Like,
why she's in a
oh, no.
wheelchair.
Yeah.
Also,
Okay,
maybe
cool.
I went full John Wick and my dog died.
Yes, exactly.
This and whatever. This is completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Right.
And so
There's
you can
nothing
choose
to do with
there, you can
anything.
choose exactly how it affects her. But like you have a big thing in your background. Maybe you lost like your entire art studio burned down recently. I don't know. Like there's many
that's
things
actually quite
that are
dope.
like tragic that may.
Yeah.
Dave also says you can take a reroll if you roll the same number of dice, especially that comes up.
Yeah.
So if you want to take a reroll, you can.
Yes, that is true for anyone
That's
at any section. You
fair.
can do
I
it.
mean, I'll give it a try, but this,
But
I mean,
that's an
this
option.
might
Like,
work.
yeah, it
like-
totally might. I think there's some cool stuff there.
So,
Double sixes
So I
now.
rolled 2 6s.
So now you got.
oh, one of those is magically a 9. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, see, that's law enforcement, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can
Or like 12. Is there anything you really like about 12?
criminal.
No.
Because that was the problem, is I had former villain as the
Yeah.
option, which didn't...
Yeah,
Work for
that would
this, so-
warp your character concept. I think
Yeah.
tragic works. Come up with like.
Because I think that's part
Oh, that's
of what, like, she uses her brain a lot to do things or whatever, and like she's mentally a lot tougher than other people, and that's
Right.
why she can draw things and like bring
Right.
them into being.
Right.
So
So mine said that.
Because you can
I
brainstorm
have-
about what exactly.
yeah, because I've got 2 different backstories in my brain about how she discovered that and what's fueling it. So
Yeah. That's
okay,
cool.
cool.
And a lot of these details and stuff people can flesh out between now and next and the first session. So.
Nope, we're doing it all right now.
Okay. You can also do that. That's
Yeah, that
like,
works.
acceptable.
So I think I'm going with an interstellar background.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that's
Because you're doing this like constructed style. Like,
Yeah,
you're like,
probably
I'm
like
an
that.
alien. I want
Yeah.
interstellar. Yeah. Cool. Cool.
So it gives me information qualities and mental qualities.
Acrobatics or
what is
close combat for
An esoteric principle. What?
Because it says
so
like
principles.
choose
Everyone gets a
history,
principle
leadership,
from
and
their
physical.
background. So if you
history
turn
isn't
to
like she's
the
all
back of it,
numbers,
like
quite
the back of
well.
this chapter,
Leadership
down below it'll say
but, like,
principles. There's a chart of
in
principles
my
that are
head,
way at the
she's
end of the
more like
chapter.
parkour
This
and-
little box.
Oh, okay.
So we can metagame this too a little bit. Like,
Oh, there it is.
Part
Okay.
of my character.
So
is
it's a category.
combat.
And that's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm
So
thinking.
like,
Okay.
I
Cool.
think
Thank you.
I think it's
So
more
you-
makes for a more interesting group. Like
yeah, I like that. I like that.
if that like unless it's
Alright, so
super important for
maybe
your character.
I don't lean on close
Yeah,
combat.
category.
No,
There you go. There you go.
I see her
So
as
you go to
having like a
categories. Yeah.
crowbar
You
in
can turn
terms
to-
of a weapon, but also because she breaks things. It's just a really
Right, it
useful
makes
tool.
sense, yeah.
Right.
But whether or not she does that by directly smashing it or by vaulting over it and then prying off just the right thing, or it's just a thing she has and she uses lightning powers to rust things. I mean,
Right.
there's a lot of different things that it could be.
So some of these have specifically close combat. My particular background has physical qualities.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is just the body in general, or is that a
So
specific subset
what does
of?
it say? Show me what it says.
So performer here. Physical qualities is the last of the.
Oh, it looks like it could be any one of the physical qualities. If you look at the qualities list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what
I haven't gotten
Yeah.
that
What's
far, and I
happening
wanted to
with me.
make sure.
Yeah, so the
Oh,
qualities
okay.
list is actually like right back on page 55 or whatever.
Oh, it's that early. Okay.
Yeah, because powers and qualities come up all the time. So it's located right there.
There we go.
Yeah.
53.
53.
53. Joe.
Making up
Joe, Joe,
pages.
Joe, Joe,
Yeah.
Joe.
So then anyone under physical there.
Right. So then, yeah, I definitely want that to be close combat.
So like, if you want, you could just choose 2 of those and not any of the other ones if you like.
I actually have a debate on like both of the other ones work, but close combat is important for the character.
Sure. Yeah.
So close
cool.
combat. So one of the things that I want the character, and this might be in powers more than qualities then. So is definitely a musician. Obviously, I like to talk a lot. So banter also works
Nice.
for me because
Yeah.
it's a thing I'm gonna do in the game.
For you,
and that's RPG insurance where I'm like, I'm gonna do this. Let's gamify it. Like,
Give me some dice when I do.
yeah, I'm gonna do this anyway. And you're like, I don't know, roll a d10, I guess, whatever. So the thing about the character is, I like superheroes that with any other set of morality or priority are supervillains.
Yes, yeah.
Like that's always my favorite kind of superhero.
Right.
So like his primary thing is like when he's performing, or maybe that amplifies his performance. He's very good at manipulating people, and in fact, the reason that it ties into like even the way the character is going to be drawn. Also, hopefully, is that like his street clothes and his superhero clothes are roughly exactly the same, except like he takes his glasses off kind of thing,
Right, yeah.
and then becomes a different person, and it's like no, that's because when he's just walking around, he's just subtly manipulating everyone around him to forget.
Yeah.
Like to just no, you don't remember this. But the other subset of powers, and I don't know if the game will function with all of those powers, but like is that no, he's really good at making people rise to action.
Yeah.
Like people around him, whether it's the teammates or just bystanders or whoever. Like he's good at manipulating crowds to feel these emotions.
Right.
To feel a particular way. He's very convincing of things, which is like the worst, like desperate, horrible thing if he's a supervillain. He just happens to not be,
Right.
so he won't use it that way. So what would you suggest? I'm assuming suggestion for psychic powers, under psychic powers here.
Oh yeah. Is that one of the?
Like if I were to take that, that's one of the psychic powers,
Oh, okay.
is suggestion.
Yeah.
So like that works fantastically. But I'm still picking qualities. I don't necessarily do I want to overlap qualities
Yeah.
for like
definitely.
creativity and banter,
Yeah.
and if it's
Yeah. I think that makes
Right.
perfect sense because you don't know, like you'll probably wind up with a power something like that as well.
Right.
Right. But then, like, if your character is really always good at that, like overlapping things where you're constructing a die pool where you've got a power and a quality that both make sense for that kind of thing. You're like, oh, I'm using my supernatural stuff plus my natural skills to both do these things, and I'm
Right.
kind of good at it. Then you're going to be constructing a die pool with those a lot, like just from a mechanical standpoint.
True.
Like that makes sense.
so the idea is then
It depends on how much like generalist versus specialist you want to be with your stuff.
yeah. He's gonna kind of be a specialist.
Yeah, which is totally
Unless he needs
totally
to
cool.
do something that he can't do, and then he suggests someone else.
Right, exactly. No, that's super good. Yeah.
So, banter or creativity? That's the question.
I think the RPG insurance argument is a really good one for banter.
Okay, fair.
Also, you're
Done.
loud and you are going to talk.
What are you talking about?
I know, I'm slandering you, and I'm actually not sorry.
This is bull.
Sorry, not sorry.
So,
Where is page
yes.
For qualities.
XX, Jim?
Yes.
We
What are
talked
you
a little
looking
bit
for
about what your
XX
game was going to be
doesn't
like
exist yet, it's
beforehand,
part of
just
the
like the
Yeah.
kind of general scope of what things are
Every
going to look like.
page is XX.
Deep
one thing
space
that's
knowledge
kind
is
of
probably not a
counter
thing
is
that will
the
come up in
layout.
this game.
Yeah.
so
Probably not. Yeah.
So maybe a thing that's
You
relevant to my
actually
characters, but probably not a thing I would
Yeah.
want for the character for this game.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Okay.
we get the joy of physically going in and finding all of the XXs and
I was just
turning them
curious.
into the
I know there
actual
are weird
page,
softwares
which is
that are
why,
not good for this, that are for like
no,
writing technical
that's why
documents
when,
where you can make
when
those
Sarah
links.
laid these out, I was like, anytime you see XX, make it red.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
make it bright red.
One of the slightly counterintuitive things is that during background it talks about selecting a principle.
Yeah.
In my case, an expertise one.
Right.
But it doesn't actually get to the principles until like page 120. So
Right.
you have to go through the entirety
Right.
of
To go to the chart of
everything.
principles at the end.
Yeah. And I just picked Gearhead because it's an expertise principle, which is what Adventurer says, and it's just kind of exactly on point.
Good.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, I think my first principle and my powers, I think, just laid out really well together.
Yeah, I think it's time for Power Source for me.
Cool.
So I have to
Yeah.
roll
Yep.
3d8.
Yep, pick up those
Let's see
dice.
what happens.
And remember the
I like
dice you're
this.
rolling for power source that your background tells you. Gotcha.
Can I use a principle that
bantered
is
my character
principle
off you a
of an
little
energy
bit.
or element, and that element
I like
bubbles?
6 or 6.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
it
Should I
can.
go
Yes,
with
we'll
what
make that
has
work.
that
Because you can
power?
rename anything as you're constructing this.
yeah.
Like all your powers and your stuff that's going on, like especially like your principles and your
So, like-
abilities and stuff are all going to
Yeah.
get renamed.
I
So,
imagine this is like the sort of like alien that can control fire
Well, I
sort of
figured
thing
you'd do
generally.
creativity also.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
But I was like,
Right,
is it
or-
not
or-
going to
or
affect the
like
song
Ra.
or the-
Yeah.
the basic
would have
lyrics
principle of
profile?
fire,
Right.
for example. But principle of bubbles is great,
okay, I love
especially
it.
if you have the power to create them a bunch,
Yeah, that's my
which
plan.
you can just say you do.
Right.
Physical qualities, close combat,
Nice.
and then also banter.
Yeah.
How do you think I should tier those? Right? Because like, banter's going to come up every time he's using powers.
I think you should make your 10 banter and your 8 close combat.
I agree. I think that
I
makes
think
your
that's
character
appropriate to his
right.
character,
Because if
yeah.
you're going to make a character, because you're talking about a character that what your character description says to me is this character talks himself out of every possible situation, sometimes using supernatural psychic powers to do so. That means you can just lean into that
Yeah.
and be like,
Yeah.
this is the thing I'm good at.
But then sometimes punches a guy.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
Right.
Sometimes that fails, or I just feel like it also.
But that's real good because
All right.
I've been kind of on a kick recently of running low combat games in a variety of systems, and this one might wind up being a fairly low combat game as
Oh,
well.
I'll make it high combat.
Oh, you can. That's also possible. Like if you start punching
turns
people,
out-
it'll turn
If
into
you
it.
get bored, I just start painting things for you to punch. I'm just like, here, just
If
attack
combat
that.
is possible, I'll make it a high combat game.
You're just in a bubble.
Combat is
Okay, so
certainly
I got
always
8.
possible.
I just want to see how it plays out because
I did that.
What we're going to do is Adam's going to draw a bunch of stuff, then you're going to start punching literally everyone you see, and then we're going to be like, well, time to draw new stuff.
Right.
Then you just made a dramatic
This
left
is
turn.
making my choice extremely easy.
Oh, yeah?
Because the choices
doing
I got
2 of
for
your
Power
dice.
Source were accident, nature, relic, or artificial being. And one of those is right out.
Yes.
But accident seems to
Yeah, accident seems
entirely
real
mesh
good.
up with
Like
with
exactly what you
everything,
were saying.
I gotta stop rolling doubles.
Or you have to keep rolling doubles even more.
Doubles
Eight
forever.
is mystical.
So do we want to try to avoid overlap with qualities
What do you mean?
between the group?
Oh, no.
Any
Okay.
2 together.
Nah. Do what makes the most
What's
sense for your
2?
character.
Okay.
Question.
Training.
Because given quality overlapping, your powers and other stuff and abilities will be different. So,
Sure, yeah.
So it says assign all the dice you rolled at the end of the background step to any of the following powers.
Yes.
Now, part of rolling my power sources, I rolled 3d8.
Correct.
So would it be 888?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. If your background said roll 3d8 for power source, then yep, then you go 8.
I figured, but I just in
Yeah,
case.
totally. No, that's a good question. Yep. And they're all different. What die sizes and stuff they say to roll at the end of those sections. So, yep. And even if you're choosing to do full constructed and you're not actually rolling the dice to give you random choices, you still remember those die types from the whatever you picked and then assign them to powers and qualities in the next step.
Power sources.
Training could of a bend, but I mean,
Okay,
it could
okay.
work great because
About what?
I'm an artist.
Yeah.
So I've honed my craft of
Yeah.
art, which allows me to then
Yeah. Sure.
be
Right.
able to visualize these things, and I have a very trained imagination, which is part of how I make this work. So like I could argue for training. I rolled a 2, and a 7.
Cool.
So
cool.
my options are, if I go with these, my options are training, experimentation,
And relic.
relic, or any combination thereof.
Relic is kind
So
of interesting.
radiation.
If you look down that list, is there something else that really jumps out and it's like, oh my god, I really want it to be this?
Like, do you like? Is it mystical? Is it just a thing that happens?
Natural ability that a human could do.
But if it's based on my art,
Is your art so good that it
Yeah,
comes to
that's
life?
what it
Is
is.
that
that's
what you're
part,
doing?
part
Yeah.
of my back. So
The art's so good it
part
comes
of
to
the
life.
idea is that I have such a vivid imagination that it is like, I guess, stronger than reality, so that I can bring these things into
Like
being.
in the history of the world,
Okay,
two
even
beings
like-
have been good enough at art to create things when they paint.
Right.
Jen's character and Bugs Bunny.
Yes.
Like I need your arguments for cursed or extra.
I don't want to do cursed.
Okay,
sure.
It goes too negative,
Yeah,
and I
no,
don't
that's
want to
fine.
go
What
down
else do
that
you have?
rabbit hole.
I was just
for
looking
what
at the
I
whole
rolled,
list.
experimentation, which is not right.
Yeah.
Nature, no wait, that's not an option. Relic, because I understand how math works.
Right, maybe you have a paintbrush that does it for you. It's your
But then
magic
that
wand.
feels like I found it.
Yeah, that's
somehow.
true. That's true.
Like it's an, it's
Yeah.
It
You could also just say
depends.
like mystical makes
But like,
a lot
what
of
if you
sense. if
inherited it or something?
yeah. So one of the things I had thought about was that, so either when I was little, because I've always been in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
it's kind of a twist on the idea of like, I can kind of bend physics and how things work and whatever, and I craft
Yeah.
these things into being, or you know, whatever that is. Or it's an idea that I've always drawn since I was little, and then the wheelchair came after, or I don't know. But either way, I'm not sure.
So I could see an argument for a bunch of them. Like the training
Yeah.
direction you talked about could totally work. The accident that is part of your tragic backstory could have given you powers. You could be from a genetic race of a bunch of beings that are like somehow sub-race of humans that can all do this. And then you have a backstory where like your family could always do this from ancient times.
Yeah.
Maybe either you know or you don't know that someone did an experiment on you and gave you these powers.
Yeah.
The magic, which would be mystical.
Yeah. So I had
The first chunk of them all kind of.
I had a thought at one point, and I don't know if this works.
Yeah.
So like my brain kind of diverged into these two roads, and one of them was that I was essentially seeing past lives, and I would rely on my previous experiences from these past lives, and that's what I would see and project. So like if if we were searching, I know this is too big, but like if we were searching for some sort of relic, for example, then maybe in a past life I was an archaeologist and I would rely on that to craft whatever I brought into being.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a weird path to go with it, and I don't know if that works, but I mean,
Yeah.
in theory, that could work with relic or something like that.
Yeah.
But then my other one was just the idea that I have such a honed imagination from when I was little that as I've grown, it's become something that I can bring into reality. They both kind of break the idea of reality, but training could also work with the fact that, so I envision her as being very athletic with her wheelchair, like she goes hiking and she does like Warrior Dash or agility competitions or whatever. She has a very specific type of wheelchair to do this, so training could also work with that too.
So to be entirely honest, as you're describing this, and I'm reading that list, I look at number 18,
18?
unknown.
Aha.
And like you just have this power and you don't know
It just
why.
happened at you,
Right.
Okay.
and that's it, and,
And
you don't know
it-
why or where it came
right.
from, and it just is.
And then you don't have to, like this question, you're like, I could answer it, but it feels awkward to answer it. Just
Yeah.
don't answer it.
Okay.
And then
it's better to
it's
not
better
answer
to
it.
not answer it.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, yeah.
It becomes
Okay.
part of
Yeah.
the thing.
Cool.
So
We
that's
all
kind of
pick
neat.
unknown powers.
Yeah.
All of us.
No, mine's alien.
Except for Jodie.
Stop it.
Jodie's like, I don't know why I'm an alien.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure mine out.
So this
Thank
is
you.
very
Thank you.
interesting. This is very interesting indeed. So it's not quite pushing her, but it's definitely suggesting that she is very athletic. She's very agile. Has control over metal because one of the things that the accident does is it gives you athletic, self-control, elemental, materials, intellectual, and psychic. Psychic doesn't really work with what I'm thinking. Intellectual, it's definitely possible, but again, it's not quite there. But for materials, metal, like absolutely metal.
Gotta be, yeah.
Athletic, I mean, agility,
Yeah.
again, that fits right in with what I was already thinking with acrobatics. But electricity really seems like the elemental thing to go with. I think of it more as like entropic, but that doesn't necessarily limit it.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely seeing her more now as a ranged combatant.
Oh,
who's just sort of like staying on the sidelines, making things break. And I think that's pretty cool.
So if you're doing lightning and you're making things break, so I just rewatched with my kids Avatar: The Last Airbender. So the way that that Iroh talks about lightning is separating, is like breaking the way that the universe works, and as it slams back together, that's the lightning, and you just like direct it where it goes. So that works really well with that kind of.
So I definitely see it as like this sort of like, it's either like this yellowish or purplish lightning that just sort of like crackles around things.
Oh, you were sitting in the right spot for that. Because there's just yellow and purple directly behind you. You were like, it's yellow and purplish, and I was just like, yep, yeah, that works.
But I definitely see
Clearly
like
from that there.
like whenever she's trying to break something, there's just like a little piece of like whatever she's trying to break is just sort of floating above her hand, rusting away and deconstructing.
That's cool.
I like that unknown is just
But
assigned to
one of the things
pick one of
I'm
these powers.
Yep.
thinking of is that I also want her to be able to put things back together.
Yeah.
And that seems like the sort of thing that like gadgets maybe I could use.
Yeah.
But that's a
Does she-
technological thing, and that's not something that any of the things that
She
have been
constructs
suggested.
things that works, or she fixes things that are broken.
She fixes things that are broken, but it's not
But she's-
really limited
it's not
to the
technical.
possible.
Right,
It's
okay.
it's sort of like,
Like she might put
hey,
it back together and be like, huh, I guess that's a spare piece, but it still works.
well, like one of the goofy things I thought of when I thought of this was that she came across Mr. Chomps that Unity had left behind, and it's like she repaired it to a fully functional, scraggly like thing called Scavenger Bot that now just sort of follows around. And it's like that shouldn't work. That shouldn't be possible. But it works, and it occasionally explodes,
yeah,
Nice.
nice.
Like all things.
like all things.
Right.
It works in 40K.
Yes.
When they paint things
Right.
red, they're
Yeah.
faster
We'll
because
make
they
it
think it makes it
4K.
faster.
Yeah.
It's fast. Why? Because it's red. That's not how that works.
Yes, it
It's
does.
fast because it's red. Oh, okay. I guess that works then.
Let's
Not argue with anybody that uses teeth as currency.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely
from this
something to
list
think
of
about for later
powers-
on.
Yes.
All right, so basically I take my 3 dice that I rolled
Yeah.
and I just pick
Get a 10, 10, and a
any
4. A 10,
of-
10, and a 6, right?
I can pick from self-control, elemental energy,
Right.
intellectual, materials. So there are some, okay.
Right.
So half the powers.
Right, exactly.
Cool, all right. No.
I like that.
Ah, no, no.
So transmutation, there's something to transmutation given what you're describing your powers as
Okay.
being. Because you're transmuting like art into real stuff.
That's fair.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
So that could be like that's a pretty reasonable power if you want to think about it in that way. Like you think about like when you're doing that, you say,
Right.
"Hey, I'm going to transmute this into this thing, or I'm going to do this thing with this art." What are you doing? What kind of powers would you go to build that
Right.
die pool? Like what makes sense to you?
Because I was looking at the self-control ones, but I think that's more about like, it says absorption and density control, and I assume that's more about like my physical.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't think any of those technically work for that because my physiology doesn't change.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
So like materials and intellectuals seem like kind of in the right direction.
yeah, the technology I could stretch inventions because I have to craft these out of, but I'm not
Yeah.
crafting them from bits and pieces.
Right. You're
It's-
just you're making them up in your mind. That's more intellectual.
Okay.
I would definitely say. Something
I guess deduction, because I need to understand the situation to craft an appropriate response to it, right?
Sure. That makes a lot
So
of
that
sense.
could kind of work, right? If I lean
Or
on pulling
intuition.
from past life experiences, intuition.
Yeah,
would
or
work.
even just like I know what to paint in this situation, depending on how you want to play it. Like how instinctual are you versus like
Yeah. Well, I get 3 because I have 3
yeah, that's
dice.
true. Yeah,
So I could do
You could do both.
deduction, intuition, and transmutation.
yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty cool.
I think I like where that's headed. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I think that
For
worked really well.
archetypes.
Cool.
The unknown power source.
So
Yeah,
D12
yeah,
and
that
D6.
was a good way to go
Yeah.
with that. Thank you.
All of these.
No problems.
What are you looking
Have
for?
all
I
of
know. I
them.
like all of these abilities.
Oh, you're looking down on the
Yeah,
abilities.
so I'm using.
Picking that, yeah.
I definitely went mystical, which worked out. It's
Nice.
actually the way I rolled it. So, modification wave is an overcome or hinder using power that apply the mod to multiple targets. Which I like because it's like the mass manipulation kind
Right.
of. It fits in that.
Right.
Mystic redirection. When another hero is in yellow or red, would take damage. You may redirect it to yourself and defend by rolling a single power die,
Yeah.
which I also like.
Yeah.
because
You like that a
that's
bunch.
kind of his thing. But I also like Sever Link. I think it's the one that has to drop off, which is overcome an environmental challenge using power, and use your max die. Either remove the penalty in the scene or boost equal to your mid die, which is just useful
Right.
and
What was the first one again?
modification wave. It's
it-
a boost or hinder
For a bunch of targets.
for multiple targets.
That's really good.
Right.
You want that.
Yeah, I know.
Because then you can
Like Severlink is just a useful thing.
bust out a
which I
sick
like.
rock solo
Right.
and make everyone whatever.
Cray.
Exactly.
And that's it. That's all.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
all
over
I have.
here.
Right.
And then everyone is
Mystic
like,
to redirection
all
just
of your
kinda
friends
works.
are going to think you're really, yeah,
Yeah.
you're like some sort of Van
I
Halen
just
bard
like the
or something.
idea that you just air guitar it. You don't even have an actual guitar. You're just like air guitar solo.
So the ones,
didn't work.
the ones I'm thinking of so
It makes you
far
think that-
Right.
Yeah,
for mine are
they were a great solo.
area alteration, where I can boost or hinder any number of nearby targets using a power, using my max die,
Yeah.
which
That's cool.
which does make sense given what I'm thinking of. And then inflict, where I can attack using a power and hinder that same target using my min die. My other choice is a reflexive burst reaction. When I'm attacked at close range for the first time, attack all close enemy targets by rolling my single power die. Probably that would be an electricity one, but I'm leaning towards the first two. That's sort of a cool,
Yeah,
cool
that-
combination. And then
you haven't even started being.
one of the green abilities is gain immunity to an element, and it's just like, okay, I'm immune to lightning. It's
Perfect.
just-
Yeah.
there we go.
That's cool.
I just get an information.
Yeah, I really like
Quality,
the
just for freebies.
mass boost,
Power source.
mass hinder, like the mass
Who says
mod
that?
abilities.
I
I think they're
I
kind
love
of
Criminal Underworld.
underused in a lot of
Because
games
it's
that
a
I've
I
played.
think what I'd like to do is I'd actually like to beef that up a
I
little
do have
bit
some
with
voice.
a caveat.
But I like.
Okay.
just being-
Where just because everything she makes has this tendency to blow up, I kind of want it so that I can boost people pretty well. But if they roll doubles, their stuff is good. Like the thing that I just boosted is gonna explode, either dealing them some damage or maybe a minor twist or something like that. It seems like it's more personalizing it than. than
Yeah,
that.
so you want to make it slightly better, but then have a downside, basically.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, let us talk about that
Yeah, absolutely.
more in depth after
Yeah.
this, because I like that idea a lot, and I bet we can make that happen.
I kind of want every single thing she has
Yeah.
to tie into that, where it's everything will work.
Right.
It's just how long is it going to work?
Right.
Still
That's
trying
cool.
to figure out powers.
Okay, tell me more.
So we definitely going to
Oh, I
have
see. That makes sense.
elemental energy powers over bubbles.
Yes, that
For sure.
completely makes sense.
And that's my highest one as well.
Yes.
Like, I mean, they're pretty
I
self-explanatory,
guess
but
probably
this one's-
like an alien. I've got different physiology. Maybe got lightning calculator going on.
Yeah. What are your options from your alien
Oh,
background?
my options from my alien background are a signature vehicle or signature weaponry, athletic powers, elemental energy powers, intellectual powers, mobility powers, psychic powers, or technological powers.
So, do you have like some kind of telekinesis?
I don't think so.
Like, what about over
No, that's
bubbles?
great.
Like
I mean, it's great for me right now.
maybe.
So, what I'm thinking of is like,
Yeah.
describe what you do with bubbles.
So like my sort of idea is to like just use them as
Like I would
barriers to things.
So, you make bubbles.
Yes,
So,
so I
you
generate
like
them.
naturally generate
Yes.
an arbitrarily
so
large
like,
number of bubbles.
Let's say that you're going to attack Matt. I'm like, I don't want you to attack Matt. You're in a bubble now.
Right.
And it's harder for
what
you to
kind
hit
of bubbles?
Matt.
Are they like solid of some sort?
They look like bubbles that you would blow, but
Right.
they're enormous.
Right.
And they're not.
They can be any size you want.
Yes.
and they're solid. So you can
And,
you can put someone in it and then they're stuck. They can't just pop it.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're not solid, but they're tough.
Right.
So like there's some like certainly you could break through them.
Pliable,
but
like,
it's
if you
hard.
Push on it.
Or can
is
you
it-
choose? You can choose.
I
what they
could probably choose that.
So
Nice.
what I would say, that, like in terms of like figuring out how these
like when you're
powers fit
flying
into
a boat.
that, I would definitely say telekinesis.
Okay.
And you can even change the name away from telekinesis if you want it to be something else. But telekinesis is exactly the right kind of thing.
Sure.
Because effectively, like, you could imagine someone constructing a character that does exactly all the stuff you're saying, but they just have, like, with their mind, they're holding on
Yeah.
to them and you can't see anything.
Yeah.
But you're just, like, making it more visually interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Is what you're doing. Like, the end result is the same, but the way you describe it and think about it and the way that it looks and is way different.
Yeah.
But it's just telekinesis under the hood.
Sure.
That's exactly like, and a lot of the stuff in this game is like that. Like, there's a few different ways that any given hero thing could work. I think that suits it
I
super
like
well.
that. And then I have one more power you know.
Because all the stuff you described doing
Yeah.
is something that would be a telekinesis kind of thing.
I don't think
Like,
You could pick someone up with the bubble.
Work.
You could shove them over there. You could make a barrier of
I
force.
don't think
I
it
kind
can
of want a
make
little
this
bit
work
of
without
like
breaking the game.
a technology
It's
thing
archetype
also,
selection,
because
which
like
means it's time to break
I don't
out
know,
the
we've got weird
special
alien
dice.
technology, and so your technology seems weird to us. Like it's not like it seems simple to us. It's kind of my plan.
But it says
But I don't have any
control them
technology of
also
mine
to
with
take
me.
other entries from this category in addition
You're
to transmute.
debating your third.
Yeah, for my third one.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe lightning calculator, but like I'm not real
That's for
sold on
figuring
that.
out stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might not work.
Well, like figuring out how the bubbles would be helpful was kind of my thought on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But
Or like, oh, I see. Like, I look at this situation and I see that if I send some bubbles over there,
I
then
know,
it will
that's
make
why I
this
like those.
thing
They
over
just sort of
here,
like-
then this will collapse in this
Yeah.
way. 'Cause here's where the
make all Rube Goldberg.
right, exactly,
Yeah.
right. If you want to play the character like that, definitely choose lightning calculator.
I don't know that I want to put all of my stuff into that one ability.
Really?
I think I want a little bit.
light.
Yeah,
These
those
are
not
are
all
like
stuff.
ours.
You have
They're
two
real
others?
Got weight
nasty.
to them.
What?
So these
No, I
are
got.
probably.
So I was gonna do
solid copper,
elemental
and they're probably
energy
plate
of bubbles.
For all the
Yeah.
other stuff.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, they've got a nice.
I was gonna do
destroy
telekinesis
table
for
weight
bubbles.
to them.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out what the other one is.
Oh, well.
The other ones?
Oh, you mean
They're
just like the
definitely
into the bubble concept in general?
Yeah.
You want to have like another side
Yeah.
thing that you're good at? Oh, okay. I mean, so do you have self-control?
I don't have self-control. I consider flight. Like it may just be a thing that I can just.
Oh,
fly.
you just happen to be able to fly.
Yeah.
And
You're
that,
how
that
old again?
is probably
You're 6?
super useful.
Oh, not actually 6. I
mean,
look
like-
like a
600.
human 6-year-old.
Flight seems so appropriate.
It
for, like,
does.
a little
I
kid
like
to be
flight a
Of
bunch.
course I
Okay,
can fly.
yeah.
Why
Here,
can't
what
I
do you
fly?
mean?
What do you mean? You
Yeah.
can't fly?
All aliens can fly and or control the weather.
I like possibly
Right.
the
Yeah.
idea that your character doesn't know they're an alien. Like has just forgotten everything and it's like, no, I'm a 6-year-old because everyone treats me like one, but I just know some
When
real
I
weird
fly,
stuff.
it can make telekinetic
Right, like I can do
bubbles.
these things
Like all 6-year-olds.
Like all 6-year-olds, right?
just like
And they're
6-year-olds do.
Everyone else is like, no.
Well, maybe.
Super
if,
not.
if you're how old are you actually?
100 probably.
Maybe
Like,
in your race,
in that
that's the
range.
equivalent
I like the idea
of
that
being
you're
a
600.
6-year-old. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they just
Maybe.
mature really
Your
slow.
race lives to be 1,000, and so being 600
Right.
is like being a 6-year-old.
No, it would be like being a 60-year-old.
Yes.
10,000.
How does
It's
math
pretty.
work?
I don't do math. It's fine.
I think I should have stayed with some regular dice
Tell me.
because this has led to some
Technically
issues.
says to do this,
It's
I have to
what
take
you
other
asked,
entries
why not fly
from this
using
category,
Yeah.
which I didn't do.
Like that's actually cooler.
I not
think.
use
Yeah.
transmutation?
What are your other options?
Like
Here, let me take a look
Any
at what
sort
that
of-
means.
Like literally anything.
yeah, like I can't do
'Cause I think
self-control.
It means I have to pick
I can't
Yeah, you're 6.
I can't do
What my
hallmark and I can't do
two,
materials.
materials are
Powers.
that I can transmute.
Why can't you do this?
Those aren't alien options.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I thought you
Maybe
were reading from
then
the list and you're like, these
the
don't
way that
work.
we
And I was
might
like,
want to
why
construct
doesn't that
this
work?
No.
What are your options?
is
Is it
instead
better?
Everything.
with an
So I can
like
do,
a little bit farther
uh,
along in the
I can
character
do any
construction
sort of
process,
signature
you're
vehicle,
going to wind up
weaponry,
with
I
an
can do
auxiliary
athletic
sheet
powers,
like Unity.
I
That's
can
what's
do
going to
elemental
happen.
energy powers,
So in that
intellectual
case,
powers,
yes, I
mobility
would agree.
powers,
Don't take that one.
psychic
then.
powers.
Take
or
one other
technological
thing.
powers.
Take like
Probably technological,
I
right?
really
Yeah, I thought about
about
that.
breaking
Apologies seems sold.
No? Okay.
But like the technological example powers are like
breaks it
yeah,
real
just
hard.
Okay.
inventions
Do you
and
I don't know.
a
We'll
signature
see how that
vehicle.
goes.
But you can choose psychic.
Probably not. No.
So
I thought you were going to roll
running
around on a
back
big
up-
wheel.
Let's see.
I can
could
I can fly. I don't need a
You're
signature vehicle.
Scooty
Like,
Puff Jr. What?
Yeah, I can pull from intellectual.
so I don't know that I need a vehicle because
No, I
well
know.
yeah.
What else was on there? I'm sorry. I'm going to keep it. There's speed
I
or
can't pull
physical.
Yeah, I mean there's speed and
Oh, you can-
athletic.
Okay.
Like, I mean, those are good,
intellectual, self-control,
generic-ish, like.
elemental energy, intellectual
Yeah, I don't know that that
materials,
fits the character though.
Okay.
Like
So, yeah. the
I don't know
others.
that like being speedy is necessarily a piece of this character.
No, okay.
Like I don't think that I think they have the physical abilities of an average 6-year-old. They can also just like
What
make
number is
bubbles and do
alien?
stuff with those things.
Extraterrestrial? Interstellar?
Yeah, you're not very physically robust.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you on
Alien.
Alien is number...
And 14
self-control is
in
one.
the
Oh,
other
in
thing.
background.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can pull from self-control, intellectual
And
materials,
powers.
and technology.
Power sources.
Power sources, 14. That's so close. Signature vehicle, signature weaponry, just a ray gun.
Yeah, I'm
Like an old vintage ray gun.
I was in Kansas City this
Just a
past weekend, and
Nintendo
I
zap
went-
gun.
Sparks inside.
Yeah, but like they
Oh
work.
yeah. Shoot, man, I love those.
Well, I went to the Museum of Miniatures and Toys in Kansas City, and
Yeah.
they just had a whole display of like spark toy ray guns,
What are
like
those
the
little
old like
electronic
tin ray.
ones
I was
from,
like,
like,
oh my god,
probably
I love
the
like
late
iconic
80s, early
aliens
That's
and
what I'm
stuff.
thinking.
Yep.
One of these two.
Yeah, she's handing it out.
It's just got a bunch. It's got the same noises. I had a helicopter that did
Yeah,
the same
it's
thing as every gun,
Fine.
and then magically the batteries would just disappear out of it at some point. Exactly, Adam.
Oh.
My parents would be like, no, never again.
I think it broke.
Psychic powers,
Sure. Okay.
maybe.
Okay.
Because that's
Yep.
a.
so
That's how I
Makes
got the
sense.
telekinesis. So.
I'm-
Right, but you
I've
can take
hit multiple
multiple, right?
block.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Tell me
And
more.
Does that make sense?
when I rolled for my
What else is
archetype, I got 12 and a 4, which means I get 12, 4, or 16.
Right.
4 is
I'm good at
marksman.
fight.
Yeah.
That doesn't really work.
Yeah.
12 is psychic, which again doesn't really work.
Right.
And 16 is form changer,
It
which
sounds like
doesn't
you should
really
re-roll
work.
your dice. That's what that says to me.
Jodie.
Yeah.
One of the psychic abilities is just animal control. Do you have an adorable dog with you all
So
the time?
either 3, 3, or
But I
6.
might.
Is it also your signature vehicle?
So physical powerhouse or close quarters combatant.
I definitely want to.
Do you want to just do this constructed style? What speaks to you? What actual?
I think I'm gonna do that.
All right.
Recognition's pretty cool. Like have your character be mildly like, no?
Yeah, I like that
just-
idea, and I like playing a character like that. I just don't want this character to be that.
I'm just
Yeah.
So close quarters combatant could certainly work.
remote viewing.
That's true too. If you want to be.
No. Like it doesn't.
Although you were
tie
talking
within
about being
what I
more
was
of a
thinking of this
ranged
character
kind
at
of
all.
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
I don't know.
What are your
I'm gonna think about this for a
psychic
second.
Yeah.
powers was just a
It's worth pondering. And you can look.
What
Like you want to
else?
look through the list and even read
What's on
through
there?
some of the stuff
Yeah.
more.
Physical? What? I didn't take any of your pages, probably. Almost certainly not.
There.
I would have
It's
done
fine.
something like that.
It's fine.
I might not have taken your pages.
Maybe.
I
No
just,
promises.
My space just keeps getting wider and wider into his area.
You got space over
It's
here.
like, so if you could
This is
maybe.
awful.
I don't know. I think,
It's actually not terrible.
Can I borrow that page?
My sleeve's all messed up. We know how Jen feels about that.
We're gonna all flip our sleeves like folded slightly wrong. How's the chat over there, Adam?
Don't forget, everybody wants the rules.
The rules for making characters?
Yes.
We just explained them.
Yeah,
So
well,
you
they-
vote-
They
We're
want
explaining
the
them.
sheets. They want to see
They're
the
not.
chapter.
They're not there yet. There's too much.
They're close.
Too much stuff.
We're getting there.
They're not ready yet. There's huge blocks of just nothing.
That's just to make sure that the
I know
printers
art,
have a
arts,
workout.
arts goes there. It's redacted. We've been over this.
Right.
Make sure the printers get a workout.
Like the
We're just
the
testing our
basic
black.
instructions are fixed.
You could probably pop those
Yeah.
there if you
You
want.
could put
I don't
over
know
there.
which way that needs
These
to
ones?
face.
I don't either.
Just this
You
page?
don't want that?
I mean, it's not
It's not
final
done.
Final,
design,
but
you
like-
can show it to
All
him, I
right,
guess. Yeah, sure.
There we go.
I don't
Look at that.
know which way that needs
I don't
to
even know.
turn because we.
Trevor
Yeah.
can,
They're gonna figure it out.
rotate on the
He'll
back
spin
end.
it.
That's the one I'm okay. Like all the rest of the stuff is kind of.
Whisper says that people have asked for the rules too many times, and so they're canceled and deleted.
Yes.
Oh no!
Because there was no deleted all over.
Sweet.
Well, we were gonna play
my
a
job
game.
just
Now we're
gets
just
so
gonna do
much easier.
storytelling.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know. I'm sorry, kid. There's nothing I can do for you.
But the very basic summary of them is
Back,
it's fine to
So
know,
everything is
so that
same.
people know what we're doing, where we are.
Backwards, right.
Because right now everyone is between steps 2 and
Oh,
3.
power source, yeah,
So
yeah,
most people are finishing up power source and moving on to archetype.
All right.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm not doing
now
background.
I get
I did
2
background.
d6s and a d10.
Where is archetype?
And we've already done the these don't make any sense thing down at the bottom. If none of your options fit your idea of your hero, you can reroll your dice once during each phase of the process.
Okay.
A 3 and a 3
And a 10.
and a 10.
Wow, you are really good at
3,
rolling
3, 10,
doubles.
Oh my
13.
gosh, can I craft a character
You
that
are
has
the-
to roll doubles?
Yeah.
Let's just play a bunch of Monopoly.
I think you can actually.
Yeah, you can, and then as soon as you start playing, you will never
Never
roll
roll them
doubles
again.
again.
Never again. Physical powerhouse. Okay, maybe.
There we go.
All right.
No,
What do
not
we got here?
Yeah, so we're like,
Blaster.
3,
Here.
3, and a 10.
Mostly on
Physical,
here.
Armor?
powerhouse,
Yeah.
that's where everyone is.
close quarters combat,
So I'm looking at these yellow
robot
abilities.
/ sideboard. Nope.
What?
I'm looking at these yellow abilities.
Yeah, tell me more.
I assume that I have to pick one of these things from this.
What does it say?
It says boost, hinder, defend,
So
attack,
Matt, I'm
or
trying to decide between
area healing.
close quarters combatant, which would
Using
definitely
power
fit
and only
with
right
some of
heroes.
the things I've built,
I pick
and
one.
some of the images
Presumably
in my
one of
head,
those?
especially with the
One of those
crowbar.
things?
I could also go with blaster.
Yes, you got to pick one of them.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
I'm a little bit
Yep.
worried about the two of us conflicting in terms of both of us being close quarters combatants.
So like, so my character has
Yep.
like
Cool.
when ranged
Yeah,
manipulate.
Speaks to you.
It's the way I deal with our friends. Intimidate, intimidate, incapacitate. Like that's it. Like I don't think it's going to be a super huge issue because we don't necessarily have a blaster on the team. That's going to be like doing bad stuff to us if we're next to each other. Like going back to back is fine, but like also we don't have a blaster on the team, and that's kind of cool. I like.
You know, I think I'm actually going to go with close quarters combatant. Because in my head, it just makes more sense that she can get up close and sort of, slap a hand on someone's gear and start it disintegrating or start it sparking towards
Yeah, that's
destruction.
that is super cool.
I like that.
That's true. I like that.
And of course,
And that's a good
you
way
can
to
then
s-
hit them with a crowbar if
Right.
necessary.
You can solve a
pipe
lot of
wrench.
problems
Pipe
by
wrench fight.
going and messing stuff up.
I think I'm going to have to do a re-roll.
I mean, you have already done it because I don't remember what your numbers were.
It's a 3, a 3, and a 10. So physical powerhouse, which I was actually kind of.
Yeah.
It's
It
kind- it's cool.
depends, because like she's in a wheelchair. She's gonna be really strong, and she still goes out and hikes and does all of these and like competitions and whatnot in this way. So like it works. It gives her signature weaponry, which could be the paintbrush. But I don't know if that's stretching the definition of what I'm
Yeah.
looking at. Shadow. That's the wrong one. But I don't know if
Yeah, I know
that's
what you mean.
stretching.
Oh, I think that what you want to be.
It still gives
wanna
her
be a-
signature
It
weaponry.
seems like you might want to be a minion maker.
No.
That
No,
might
I
work
thought about
better.
that.
Given
See,
what
that's
you're-
kind of what I
But
was
that's
thinking.
too
Like,
close
I can
to-
stretch it and make it work with one
yeah.
of these,
Unity,
or I
that's
can
really what
pick
she
one
does.
that's
Like,
better.
the things aren't
Right.
self-aware. It's
I
just
feel
Or
bad.
reality shaper.
Gadgeteers.
that's actually something I was thinking about.
There's your
Gadgeteers
there's your
kind of a
transmutation.
thing.
Yeah. Let me look at that a bit more.
Or psychic.
Reality
that
shapers.
adds in. Yeah, that's probably the way to go.
Definitely
for you. Yeah, that's
more
almost certainly
appropriate.
right.
Okay. If we're okay with me just constantly.
Oh yeah. That's
The whole
what I
idea of
like,
being rolling
right?
the dice is if you have analysis paralysis, you have an
Yeah.
idea for your character.
Right,
So like
cool.
Then
you
you
should
don't.
be picking the thing.
Right.
The more clear an idea you have for your character going in, the less you're going to randomize every
Yep.
session.
Right.
Like,
I'm doing it anyway just for the sake of being
Yeah.
like, oh,
Well, yeah,
let's
that's
see what
kind
comes
of
up.
what-
And
yeah,
it's
I
worked
was
out every
like,
other
Right,
oh,
yeah.
time.
I could
But like,
maybe
it's not a
make-
balance
I could
issue.
make
Like,
that
as
work,
long as you're
but-
like, this thing says that I can choose these things, then it gives me these dice, and then I choose another one. Like that's where the balance is. It doesn't matter which ones you choose.
God
same
may
one I
not
was
play
asking
dice
about.
with the
Presumably that
universe,
would
but
work
you
for
do.
hindering enemies also, right?
Is that what you mean with reality shaper?
Yeah. Yeah.
Since you can hinder.
All right.
I don't know why you would hinder
Let's
heroes.
see here.
I think that this is. I don't know why you would hinder heroes either.
Yeah.
God, I
That is
hate the-
weird
the
to me.
self-control
But everything
power.
else about this says that it
Part
makes sense that it's just
detachment.
heroes because
Yeah.
it's your allies and then
Right.
you get to heal and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm aware of what it is.
So
I said I'm
Maybe they shouldn't say
uncomfortable with it.
Okay.
this I will ask the rules people about.
Yeah, because what I want is I want
As
the power
cool
to
as
hinder
Gadgeteer
enemies.
is, I'm going to stick with
Right,
close
to
combatant.
hinder
I think it's
enemies
more,
and
it's
then-
That
speaking
works
to me
really
more.
You
well for you.
recover.
Yeah.
So I need
Like,
to.
'cause I think it would make sense that you
reasonable.
have to kind of get up in the face of whatever
If you're okay with that, we'll go with that.
Yeah, let's go
Especially
with
if
that.
I'm
I
picked
thinking
the one
in
right
terms
after it
of,
also.
like, I don't want to lose control of my powers.
Yeah.
And if I let them go further, then
Yeah.
it could lead to some really bad stuff.
Yeah.
So the archetypes quick reference
If Dave is watching this,
are
and explains it differently.
principles.
Yeah,
that
then we'll
you-
change
Dave's
that's fine.
killing himself right now over
What's
us. Are principles tied specifically to the archetypes?
Yes.
Okay. Like, I know they're in this chart. I didn't know if this was just for the rolling. Okay.
No. So you get principles from two places, one from background and one from archetype. So you already got one when you chose your background. Now you're getting a second one when you choose your archetype.
Right.
Oh, that actually works perfectly because one of the things that I can do is that my D12 is going to go towards close combat, but my D6 can go to technological power such as gadgets.
Yeah.
So I can make gadgets, just not well.
Nice.
Oh, wait, I'm looking in the wrong section. Can't remember.
Yeah,
I like that Christopher's in the chat now. I'm sure that's.
He's been here.
I know that's great though. I like it.
Pops in because he's doing other work.
Yeah. But that's a good addition to the chat. Oh, that's funny.
Okay.
Archetypes. I finally made it.
It's all right. It's not the race.
I'm thinking about physical
I'm losing.
powerhouse.
All right, so illusions.
Do I want to
Oh,
lean
I see,
harder
I
into
see.
psychic, or do I want to go for archetype?
At least we don't have like a
because I have a
D&D
way
third
that I
edition
think
/ Pathfinder
the
problem. Like,
character
you know,
looks.
everyone is at the choose magical items section.
Right. And that will be the rest of your week.
Right.
I gotta look at psychic powers.
Okay. Archetypes. Yeah.
Okay, so I get transmutation off of Reality Shaper. Am I right back to where I started, where I have to pick two?
Show me what it says.
It says assign one or more of the dice you rolled at the end of the power source step to any of these powers, and it just says transmutation. But am I putting myself right back in that situation where I need to pick what I transmute, or is this
Do
just
you
more
know,
general?
It's since it says like I feel like the rules as written suggest that you do have to do that. I agree, and I'm not
Okay.
sure exactly the
More
implication of
psychic
that either.
powers.
So that's something I want
I
to ask
just
Christopher and
wanted
Dave
the
about.
one. Like I wanted suggestion,
Okay.
and that's
I mean, I can pick
That's
from
fine.
psychic as well. So like, I could just do illusions, and that would probably get rid of that issue, right?
It would, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
I'll
you
just
can
do
create.
that.
You can create.
That's
That's actually kind of
that's
neat.
Kind of the
The
answer
power
there.
set that's coming out here is you can make all sorts of images, both tangible and intangible,
Yeah.
at will, like which
Like,
is
if
quite
we-
which is quite powerful.
We
Like
don't end
Yeah.
this by
Well,
you
and that's-
making a tunnel on a wall. Painting
Yeah.
a tunnel on a wall
So
and having somebody
I
run
picked
into
the
it.
principle of great power,
Right.
Yeah.
which is the idea of like how much power you have can be overwhelming and terrifying, so you have to be controlled with it. So
Right.
I think that works really well
That
with
does.
the fact that we're basically creating someone who can make you think it's there or actually make
Right.
it there.
Like-
you don't know which.
yes, there's a lot of like really like kind of dark things you could do when you have that power set.
But
You
I
would-
wouldn't. I'm happy.
Right. Exactly.
Barb Ross is just a
I love
happy-go-lucky.
Barb Ross. It's
There's
the
no
best.
such thing as mistakes. Oh yeah,
Barb Ross.
Barb Ross.
It's the best.
Her code name
That
is-
has been locked in
Oh yeah,
since
that
like
was like
day one.
a month ago. I sent Matt a thing. I was like, I have this
Oh,
idea.
you
Here's
sent
her
me-
name.
You sent me 3 pages of text, and I was just like, yeah, I like all of this.
I was.
No, it's listen. We had a long discussion about it. It was great. You also sent it to me at like 11:30 at night. And I was like, oh, I'm asleep. Let's talk about this tomorrow.
Well, it's because I was in the car and I just whatever. Anyway, I had to put it somewhere so I didn't lose it.
That's fine.
She wrote you 3 pages while she was driving.
Happy little friend.
Right. Yeah, I have to
Wait,
make my
did
happy.
you take? Oh God, I'm turning into Jenn over here. Did you?
What is that supposed to mean, huh?
Because basically you have a similar power set to the mutant kid who was lobotomized in X-Men 2.
Sure.
Striker's son.
Right, Striker.
Oh, that one.
Nerds.
Hee hee hee.
What was that power?
So if I take illusions and then I get
Teleportation,
2
more
more,
comics,
so
usually.
D6s. Animal control.
I lost it.
I mean, if you can create illusions, both physical and non-physical, you have animal control.
That's fair.
Right. Do you call them your happy little friends?
Well, no,
You could change
I
it
really
to plant
wanna
control,
craft,
and then you can have happy little trees that you.
I could straight up. I
Just an
wanted
army
to
of
craft
happy little trees?
I wanted to craft an ability that I could call Happy Little Me's, which is where I just draw a bunch of me's into
Oh, yeah.
existence, and so like,
What-
oh,
that's-
something's going on over
Oh, that's
there,
really
and
good.
over there, and over there, and
Duplication
call it
is
Happy
one of
Little
the powers
Me's.
if you wanted that specifically. That's
that I've been able to
self-control.
pick yet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fair, but it's not actual. It's
It's
Yeah.
illusory duplication.
yeah.
Sure.
So I've got illusions of happy little me's everywhere.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm way into it.
Poor Adam. I can just feel the eye rolls. Okay.
Yeah, he's rolling his eyes at chat.
So I can pick.
So- For close quarters, it says gain 3 of the following green abilities, at least one using close combat and using another, at least one using your close combat quality and another using one of your powers. So I've already thought about this, and that's fine. But then it also says gain one of them as a yellow ability using a different power or quality from any of your green abilities. So it looks like I could double up. Like if I wanted offensive strike as a green,
Right.
I could then use
You
that as
could
a
use it
yellow
again as a
using
yellow
something
using a
else.
different power or quality. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's my understanding of that as well. Because that kind of represents you getting maybe like better or more versatile.
I could do post-cognition, and that could be the past life experiences.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
There we go. Okay.
I think I'm making an elemental manipulator.
That's cool.
That's just like
That just happens
a
to
non-standard
produce
element.
Right. The element is like these weird bubbles, and
Yeah.
you can like
It's fish damage.
it's like it's a weird like alien
Yeah.
Something.
element substance thing that you
Yeah.
can transmute things into and manipulate. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you can just call
I
it
go
bubbles.
with that actually.
Yeah.
Soap.
But then there's a bunch of like scientists that are like, yes, well, it is well known that the aliens of wherever, like, and they have like scientific treatises on here like bubbles, and they're all like, babulia.
The bubble. The bubble minds of Ix.
Exactly.
Oh God, I'm stuck. Tell me about things.
Isn't that where like the Ordos are from?
No. It's where the Ixians are from. It's the 9th planet from the sun. That's why it's called Ix.
Oh, nice. All right.
God, it's all corrupt technology. God, it's like you don't know the first thing about Dune.
What is your question?
I'm trying to decide if I should go physical powerhouse because it's more like I don't actually need more psychic powers. Because the only psychic power that I want is suggestion.
Oh, you don't want other psychic powers, like?
But having other psychic abilities is interesting,
Oh, yeah.
right? So it's either psychic or physical powerhouse as my
Well, you can
archetype.
gain like self-control powers or materials powers or something.
Right. Yeah. Self-control powers.
Like that
awesome.
might actually be self-control powers. Might be.
Yeah, let me look at self-control powers, see what those do. Maybe I'll duplicate Jen.
Yeah, fine. Happy little use.
Part detachment. Ugh.
Yeah, that's like the maggiest.
Density control
the
kind of
maggiest
works.
power.
Yeah.
Part detachment.
Absorption. Also.
What would
kind
Maggie
of.
do? Part detachment.
But like,
I think you have to pick what you absorb.
sure. I mean, okay. I'm at the
So I can
very
lean
top
really hard
level of
into
reading
it
into these,
and
being
do-
like, this might work. Let's see. But then the other
do you
option
absorb-
is
absorb
like
people's
signature weapon, just a
What?
pipe wrench.
Oh.
Like that just works.
I said I could lean really hard into it in history.
Leaping, density control,
Yeah.
size changing.
You totally could, if
or
that's like-
athletic powers.
Something that you're like
So
intellectually
like I could
curious
get
about as a
strength in there
character
with
and like.
physical
I mean, it would make sense if the
Yeah.
whole thing is that she's discovering that what her powers are based on is these past lives that she's had.
Yeah.
So she'll probably
Somehow,
be curious to
that's
like
kinda-
learn more about
Right.
them and what's going on.
No.
Both about yourself, but then about history in general. Like, did other
Right.
people do this in the past? Maybe you know a
Right.
bunch about art history, and you're like, maybe this was something that like Michelangelo could do.
That's
Or
something.
just and like
I don't
having
know, yeah.
past lives would give you just a basic knowledge of
Right,
the
yes.
history of events
Because you had
anyway,
some-
because you've got some
Memory, like, oh
knowledge
yeah,
of
I feel like I was alive
It
then.
has
right,
to be
like oh
physical
me from the
powerhouse
Civil
because
War, so
I
I
want
remember these things that were going
persuasion as a social quality.
Do it.
on. I'll just lean
Like
into
that
it. Let's see how
ties
this
into
goes.
the.
Yeah, I'm curious.
All right.
This is sort of like. It's interesting as you do this.
I
You're like,
did
oh,
bad
this
and
character is
didn't
like
leave
a little
myself
bit.
enough room on this page.
It's kind of
I'm learning new things
but
about
I'm
this
making
character.
it work. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's only a D6, so it doesn't have to be like
Yeah.
So this is
I'd
kind of
probably
an
lean on others
interesting.
more, but
Got
it works.
This is kind of an interesting thing that I'm a little bit worried I've painted myself into a corner. Not
That's
in
my
terms
turn.
of character, but in terms of like my play style, because
Okay.
one of the abilities, one of the green abilities that I gain 3 green abilities, and one of them has to use close combat. Close combat is a 12. It's easily my best die.
Right.
Everything else is an 8.
Right.
except for gadgets, which is a 6. So that's attack using what's going to be close combat and use your max die. Like that is a bread and butter, incredibly useful
It
green
is,
ability.
anytime you're doing combat stuff.
But then it says gain one of the above using a yellow ability as a yellow ability using a different power or quality from any of the greens. I'm now in a situation where like there is a green ability that is far and away the highest potential for being useful.
Right.
And all of the yellow abilities here are, I'm a little bit worried that they sort of pale in comparison to that.
Okay. Are there any there that make you particularly good at like overcomes or like boosts or something like that would get you like, okay, so sure, if something requires like, oh, we got to beat this thing up or fight it, definitely you're right. You're going to wind up always doing that thing. But then like now I've got a totally different angle, like, because close combat is not that useful when you're doing like overcomes.
And that's what I'm a little bit worried about now, because I've got, my options are defensive strike, which is an attack.
Yeah.
Offensive strike, again. Throw minion, which is an attack. Precise strike, which is an attack. Dual strike, again. And then the only other thing is flexible stance, where I can take any 2 basic actions using power or quality, each using your min die.
Right.
And as a green ability, that's pretty cool. As a
Right.
yellow ability, that seems
not as-
very lackluster.
It does. Well, do you want to back out and not do close quarters
No,
combat?
I definitely want to do close quarters combat, because like that's in my head now. That's working for
Sure.
it. It's just I think I'm going to want to talk to you a little bit more about that to maybe boost one of these as a yellow ability, or like take some sort of yellow ability that isn't one of these.
Okay.
If I'm like, I could do like attack using agility, which is ignore all penalties on this attack, and you defend, and it can't be affected by reactions.
Now
That is not a bad yellow ability. I'm just
Yeah. You're also, if you don't want to get painted into the I just punch things corner,
Yeah.
once you get to retcon, you can swap 2 dice in your powers and or qualities. So if you want to move that D12 somewhere else, where you're going to be doing things that you find more like satisfying or interesting from a role-playing
Okay.
perspective, you could totally do that. So you could keep that in mind as that being an option as well.
Which
If you,
wants you to take throw minion.
Stupid thing doesn't work.
attack a minion using probably agility, and whatever that minion rolls as defense attacks another target of my choice.
that's a very delightful.
Which does sound pretty darn cool. I'm going to have to go with the
I
chat
kind
on
of
this.
like that your default to not working is just that you kick it and all of a sudden it
Yeah.
works.
Except in this case, it's a minion.
Yeah, that's great. But yeah, if you like, I think that there might be something there where you switch that D12 into something else. So then you've got all the good combat abilities, but your D12 is actually useful
I might
for.
actually put that into metal,
Right,
or,
yeah.
or electricity.
Right,
I
exactly.
like that idea.
Yeah,
Because then a close combat is a D8. Like that's
it's great.
That's
It's going
very
to be good. And you've got all these abilities that make your close combat better.
Yeah.
So
It also makes me wonder, like, because a D12 is like incredibly skilled. It's like,
right,
where the heck did I become this
right.
like
It doesn't make
punching master?
Yeah,
It
you're
doesn't
like
really work.
yeah. I went to Taekwondo a few times, I guess.
You just punched enough TVs to make it work.
Right.
You
I
perfected
think
your
I'm going to take the
form.
swimming power.
Okay.
Not how that works.
No, it's not
Tell me
always.
more about this.
Because rather than like actually knowing how to swim, I just move myself through water in bubbles.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
Yeah, that's definitely
Elemental
what it's
Manipulator gets
called. Like,
an
that's
option
that's
for
the
swimming
name of it
power.
now.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can just swim and fly.
There it is.
Yep.
So you've got a lot of mobility.
Probability insight. If
'Cause
you
you're an
roll
alien.
doubles, you
Yep.
may attack.
So I don't actually, none of my abilities seem to be
Which one are you looking at?
have overcome
so I
actions
have,
options at all.
I can assign one of my remaining
Athletic
dice
power?
to.
There's
Yeah.
fewer of those.
Yeah.
Tricky, yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be by
Usually what you
yeah,
want
I
to
know,
wind up
I've-
doing if you want to
that's
be able to
a
get it overcomes
bookmarks
is
right now.
boosting and then overcoming.
Yeah.
Or someone else boost
not
you.
a book
Well,
So-
I'm definitely
started
building,
spreading
gearing
out.
myself toward that. So
Yeah. Are you good at boosting?
I'm working on it.
That's
Like
cool.
I'm building that
Because
character.
if you're good at boosting
I
them,
want to
they'd
be
like,
a.
all right,
yeah.
you want? I'm an alien. I don't know what's going on. I'm an alien and I have bubbles. But you're like, hey friend, you seem good at this computer.
Yeah, I mean-
Boost. Now
Yeah.
overcome this computer problem. Or
I
whatever.
definitely want to make like
So
a
the
character
thing
that
that
is
I
kind of a boost hinder engine.
That's
physical
cool.
powerhouse.
Yeah. I
specifically
like that
because
a
it gave me
bunch.
strength
Some of the
boost.
stuff that Adam did with Starblaze was a little bit in that direction.
Social
Was neat.
quality,
Yeah.
so
And like building that in
being
because like
persuasion.
you can get a lot of
Nice.
cool stuff to
So I
happen.
have persuasion.
You're
All right,
super
choose a
charismatic, really
responsibility
strong guy
principle.
Right.
that plays the
Building
guitar.
So
You
I don't play
are.
guitar, I
I'm
play
just
bass.
saying.
But I get to choose one of these.
Yeah.
Size changing, density control, leaping. I already have signature weaponry, which is pipe wrench. It's fine.
That's great.
It's kind of great. So I'm kind of stuck at athletic power, and I already have strength. Speed and agility don't really work for the guy. So it's vitality, right? It's got to be.
Oh, I agree.
It's got to be for this.
Because that means you've
character.
got you're very
Do
like
anything? Oh, because you've already pulled the physical and social that you want.
Right. Yes.
Gotcha.
Well, and I have to do strength. 1 die to strength, 1 die to one of these two, which is where I got the social thing. So I have to assign 1 to here. So it's going to go to athletic powers, to vitality. And this is coming from my archetype. And it is a D8. God, I have a lot of D8s.
yeah.
Dave wants you to name your type.
Oh. I don't know if I talked to him about the name of my character, nor have I revealed it to chat yet. But like, I'm kind of building it up because I really love it.
It's real good. I'm very excited.
French gets a name also.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll come up with something.
Good. Because at the end of this, once everyone's done, I want everyone to now talk in more detail about who their character actually is.
Yeah.
Now that they've built it
Right.
out.
Now that's the thing. I
His
don't know why
name
I
and other
walked
stuff
away
like
from
that.
that.
Yeah.
Physical powerhouse. So I still need to pick 2 of my green level abilities. Strength and victory.
I so want to use this. Okay, gain 2 of the following green abilities, and one's called Not Quite Right. After a dice pool is rolled, adjust 1 die up or down 1 value on the die. There's no such thing as mistakes. Just happy little trees.
Yeah.
That's kind of great.
That's exactly.
That's
you
exactly
definitely
right.
must have that ability. That makes perfect sense. Barbara Ross.
This is great. God, I love that character. Like, I'm mad that it's not my character. I guess I should have put that in there, but I didn't. When you eliminate a minion with an attack using power quality. Power quality?
Probably
Oh,
powers
power or quality, I'm assuming.
What does it say?
I guess.
The last one, strength and victory in the abilities.
Oh, using a specific power or quality.
Oh, I
That's
have
what
to
that means.
choose that.
Yes,
That's
because it's in
fine.
brackets. It's like you choose one when you write
Right,
it
that
down,
makes sense.
and then that's how that ability works for the rest of the game.
But that's power or quality.
Yes.
Okay.
A given power or quality.
Jen.
Which one's that in? Physical powerhouse?
78. We're being editing
Oh,
notes.
that's good.
Like minor, like
That's
there's
like
a typo here.
it's definitely
There's a little thing,
beneficial
like,
as we notice stuff.
do that thing. Like now that it's,
This should say or.
it should have everywhere else it just has a slash.
All right.
So I'm thinking about taking principle of the team. I've got to go for a responsibility principle, and that's the only one that really looks even remotely right. So there's principle of business, not really what I'm going for. Principle of the debtor, which again, not really. Detective, double agent, everyman, family, but they're in another universe. The Mask, where, I mean, my true identity is someone who doesn't exist in this reality and lives on a houseboat and eats out of dumpsters because she can't keep a credit card or, you know, go to an ATM.
Cannot be bothered with those
No,
life
they
choices.
break.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
No, seriously, I see her as someone who's like, no, you know, I know exactly when Trader Joe's throws out their stuff. It's still good for a while.
Oh yeah, nice. I like it.
I live in a boat because it's easy to maintain, and they're always breaking anyway, so no one really expects it. And you know,
Not a
Nobody
whole lot of
bothers me.
electronics. Yeah.
can live a very good life as long as you're okay with making a few concessions. But principle of the sidekick again. Team, your heroic team takes up a significant portion of your life, and you have an official position in that team.
That could make
That
perfect sense
could
if
make
everyone
sense, especially
hears-
since
yeah.
you're talking about how we already know each
Yeah,
other.
and if you want to go like, not only do you know each other, but you like know each other and get along and have work together for a while.
Right.
Like you could lean into that if you want. It's
it
cool.
would
It's up
make
to you.
sense that you and
Up
I
to you
maybe
all
hang out 'cause
collectively.
You're super athletic and agile on us, so we would probably go hiking or do like any
And
of that
that's-
kind of stuff together.
That's sort of the way I see her, where it's like, no, superheroing is what she has.
yeah.
Like, she doesn't really have a lot else, and if she thinks about that too much, it's super depressing. But she can do a lot of good if she's part of this team.
Yeah.
I like that. I definitely want to make someone who's like I have this picture of her in my head where it's like Yeah, if she had an in-cap art, it would totally be like her huddled up next to a dumpster because everything else just completely fell apart in her life. And it's like, yeah, no, that's the depressing thing, but as long as you keep moving forward, you don't have to do that. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's good.
Unless it happens.
Yeah, I like share with me your thoughts once you finish the individual character. Share with me your thoughts about what you're doing together, how you work together, that kind of stuff. That'll be super great because I'm going to craft next week's session once I know all this stuff.
Okay, I don't 100% understand
Okay.
how this would work. Negative likelihood. So I'm picking 2 green abilities.
Yeah.
Negative likelihood. It's a hinder ability. So hinder using chosen power. That penalty is
All right,
exclusive
personality
and
time.
persistent. So I would hinder a minion or whatever using one of these powers,
Right.
and it would be
And I
a
think this will-
persistent
Persistent,
power.
which means it lasts for the
For the light.
scene,
What
right?
they do in
And
the
exclusive
game,
means that it can't be applied at the same time as another hinder,
Okay.
I believe.
So I would be able to use this either exclusively
Going to review the rules for next time, but I
on
believe that's what it
whatever,
is.
or it would be persistent until
Well,
that
it's both.
character's
It's
out
both
of the scene.
things.
Both,
No, no,
okay.
so you put it on something.
And because I
Yeah.
understand how the
1 and a
English
10.
language works.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, okay.
Right. So like then they're hindered forever. Like you can't like stack a bunch of them up, but they're hindered forever.
Until the end of that scene,
Yeah.
basically.
I think exclusive.
Or
You
they-
can't have. I believe it's just that you can't have more than one exclusive
Okay.
mod. You can have a bunch of non-exclusive mods and only one exclusive mod. I believe is true. I will know by next time.
So if I did this and I could say hinder using illusions,
Yeah.
and then whatever that
Hell yes.
hinder illusion is,
That's going to just
they're
last for the whole scene,
Okay, cool.
unless they somehow deal with it or
Yeah.
you remove it. That's really good.
All right, cool.
Imagine
I
you're
would
going
go
to
with a
do a lot of
reroll on this.
illusions and creativity.
Yeah, that's kind
And a
of
lot
my
of
plan.
like, yeah.
Because my choices are for personality: lone wolf, alluring, or stoic.
Alluring.
Stoic.
Stoic is like the only one that even
Kinda,
slightly
but it's not really
works, but
doing
it's
it
not
for you.
really
Yeah.
working.
Chris wants me to bring up that exclusive means that you can't use any other mods at the same time
Okay.
as that mod.
So it's no other mods.
Right.
Cool.
It's just by itself.
Perfect. That's
So
the answer.
I can't like
So you can't.
it again and
yes.
again and again to
Right.
that
To the same. Yeah. Which makes sense. It's a balance issue.
So my getting abilities from Physical Powerhouse, I've picked my 2 abilities that I want to use,
Cool.
and they both have a power/quality
Yeah.
to assign to them. But I gain 2 abilities, the two of the following green abilities, each using a different power or quality from the Physical Powerhouse list, including strength. So I got 3. I got 1 social quality, 1 power, and strength as a power.
Yeah.
Do they both have to be different? Because that doesn't work, because I only have 3 of them.
Here,
I'm
let me see what it
assuming
says.
It's the very top bracket there. I'm assuming that only one of them needs to be different. Or if they can, I'm only assigning 1 power or quality to it entirely. I don't know. Just because I didn't read that.
So you're getting. Okay. So it says a different power or quality. So you. Which powers and qualities did you get from physical power?
Strength of victory and power strike.
Great. Strength, victory.
Strength in victory.
Strength
it's
in
the
victory.
one on the bottom.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh no. I mean, which power or quality?
Oh,
did you
I
get?
got strength,
Yeah.
I got vitality, and I got persuasion.
Right. So you've got those 3, and those were all from this list.
Right.
So like when you're choosing 2 of these abilities, one of them can be from one of those 3, and another one can be for one of the 2 remaining.
Right. Okay.
Is that?
Right. But what I'm saying is, you told me before that, like for power strike, I have to choose a power and a quality.
No. A power or quality.
Oh, power or
Yes.
quality.
So it's yeah. No. It's or.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. So then I don't actually want to do that or that.
Stoic feels like it's pushing me more in that like grim, dark.
Yeah.
Like it just does. It's definitely something that I could go with, but
Did you say something about lone wolf or something?
yeah,
in
like
one of
lone
them?
wolf is one of the options, and
It's weird with team.
that's really weird with like the principle of the team.
Right.
Team. I think it's a team.
Alluring also, where it's like, yeah, I guess, but that doesn't quite work.
You want to re-roll or?
That's what I'm thinking of. Like
Yeah.
Stoic does absolutely work with the character, but it pushes her more towards the no, I'm doing this to escape my dark past.
Right.
Yeah. Swear to me.
I will take my reroll.
All right, so I think I'm going to use a yellow ability of Never
2
Happened,
or 4.
otherwise known
6.
as Edit Undo. When a nearby enemy would create a bonus or penalty, you may remove it immediately.
Leader.
Natural
That
leader,
is super neat.
mischievous,
That's a reaction
or
then?
distant.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that is
So-
super
Kinda
cool.
great.
Edit Undo.
It is.
I don't know if it's because it's not
quite
intentional,
where I am.
right?
Yeah.
Like it works if that character had a different outlook.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think I'm going to go with natural leader. Like she's trying to.
Oh, that's cool.
She's trying to do this and trying to do it well. Especially because like the more I can think about other people and the more I can lead them, the less I have to think about that super depressing stuff.
Right.
Right.
Everything's okay.
Just gotta keep moving forward.
she's an expertise principal now. Got so many principles.
Choose an esoteric principle.
Principal.
All right.
You should wind up with 2.
Yes.
Yep.
Like a million. No. Building in principal monger. No.
The principalist.
The principalist. 2d10 for a thing.
I lost where the
that I
principles
care
are.
about.
They're way at the end.
That's not.
Okay.
They
That's what it
I'll
was.
take that.
Yeah.
starts on
That's better.
120
Okay, thank
for
you.
the full descriptions.
Um,
Fauna, flora, future,
okay.
immortality.
So this one's done, and I want to move on to personality. Which is
Time travel,
past this.
undead.
It'll be a bit easier when the section doesn't say XX. It says the page that they're on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the charts
That
will
makes
eventually
sense.
have
Yeah.
real page numbers.
That means something at all.
Yeah.
I think I might be naive.
Yeah,
seems-
that's kind of great.
That sounds like it fits
That's
with your
so
character
good.
concept quite well.
Principles.
Yeah.
Esoteric principles, no, I don't care about that because I don't have that. I need a responsibility and an expertise.
So many notes.
Still expertise.
That's why I wanted to print these out and use them.
Yep.
The number of usability notes you get from actually using something for its intended purpose is fantastic.
Yep.
So I noticed a couple more of those without the slash in there.
Oh, okay.
So like,
Yeah.
you'll want to find text and go through those.
Anything you find, let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a quick meeting about layout.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone loves meetings.
So I've got to make up a quality that sort of speaks to her backstory for natural leader. And I want something that's sort of like that ever forward mentality.
Yeah. Something like Dauntless or like that kind of like. We could go with like Headstrong or like something like, depending on which kind of like, what kind of shading you want to give it.
Yeah. Let me look at the red abilities, see what speaks to me, and I'll continue thinking about this.
Are we still live, Adam? Trevor switched the TV to have a koala on it, so.
Oh no. Why would he do such a thing? The koala means we're not
wanna-
live.
Bend things again.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's great.
Oh,
That's
Will
good.
not be confined by these rules.
No, that's good.
Oh, at least it's live now.
So
He was just
this
messing around
kind of
probably.
works if the idea
Yeah.
is that I'm actually really, like I'm in touch with all
Okay.
my past lives. It's
Yeah.
the closest one I could come up with because I have to pick an esoteric one.
Okay.
Like I can make this work, but I just don't like it.
Yeah. Totally don't think.
Energy element, no, exorcism, no, fauna, flora, the future, inner demon, magic, sea, space, time traveler, and undead. None of those really
So
work.
let me let's think about it.
But this gives me this, which is kind of cool. depending how it's
Oh.
used.
Jen, you can use your retcon to change your principal
Right, to a totally different thing as
to
well.
whatever you
Oh,
want.
yeah,
So
okay.
if that's better, yeah.
Yeah.
The same way, like,
Yeah, that's fair.
knowing that that's coming up with the retcon is helpful for certain. Like when you get yourself in a corner, like how Chris did,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're like, oh, well, no, I know how I can fix
It's like
this
I
in the
can
future.
make, again, I can make this work.
Right.
It's kind of interesting, but I don't know if it plays out in the right way.
Yeah.
All right, let me see if something's better then.
Yeah, you can swap one of your principles for any other principle in the entire game during a retcon. Which is coming up.
I guess I could do Principle of Mastery, maybe.
Oh, that's actually really cool. What is that?
Okay.
How does that describe?
During role-playing, you've thoroughly studied your own powers and
Oh,
are proud
yeah.
of your mastery of them. You understand a good deal about the metaphysics of your powers.
Right. And then the twists give you like, oh no.
Yeah,
what-
how did they fail you at the
what
moment?
side effects are you
and the
suffering?
side effects, which...
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I have kind of an interesting thing I could do with that.
And that green ability is really cool.
Oh, that is
Because
pretty
that
cool.
also
The
forces you to be
hero
really
point.
creative in your descriptions of stuff, and as long as you are,
Yeah.
you can use that, and then everyone gets a hero point, and that's super rad. I
All
like
right,
that a
yeah,
bunch.
let's go with that.
What are we
Okay,
taking?
Principle of Mastery.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
remember
that's
that.
way you.
Remember that that's your retcon thing. Yeah, everyone like,
Yep.
or if you're there already, if you went through red abilities.
Is that my retcon, or was my retcon when we went with the unknown earlier?
No, that was in the
Okay.
same list. Yeah,
Okay.
the unknown was.
Okay, so some new information.
Yeah,
Dave has checked chapter 2. An exclusive means that it can't be used with another exclusive mod. You can only use one
All right, so the
exclusive
thing I
mod,
said
but
was
you can
right.
still use other mods.
all right. The thing I said was right.
Christopher was
Okay, so
incorrect.
it's
Aha.
like it's like unique.
Yes,
Okay.
it's like limited. Yeah.
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 Oh, how audible are you for this dream?
Not
Do we-
super.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
so
should probably repeat what he says then.
yes, in that case.
Well, he said it.
Yeah, he said it in the chat,
So,
so everyone knows.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in any case, yeah. So exclusive mods cannot be used with other exclusive mods, but they can be used with non-exclusive mods.
Cool.
Makes sense.
And let me get a green ability off of this.
Are you finishing up principal selection as well, Matt?
Yeah.
Jenn is as well, but she jumped ahead from step 3 to step 6 to retcon her principal.
Yes.
It doesn't
I
matter.
see that.
We'll
I-
be fine.
Oh, I was like, oh no, I
no,
no.
forget everything.
Like I am.
You just have to remember that
notes
you did
and
that.
finalizing all the things later
Yeah, no.
because like
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
definitely doing that.
definitely didn't write everything down and assign every die I should have.
Right.
But like I know what they are.
Yeah.
I can go back and find everything I need.
Yeah, once I do character creation in a system a few times, which I've not yet in this
Then you
system,
just
but-
write in.
Well, then what I do is I actually make them in a really weird order, usually.
Right.
Like on a system by
This
system
is
basis.
actually like I do that with other systems.
Yeah.
This one actually makes sense the order you do
It
things
does,
in.
yeah.
And matters.
Yeah,
the
it
order
matters,
that you do
right,
things
yeah.
in.
So this one is less like,
Right, but like
but also you could do it in like
You could do it in a weird
like,
order.
You could absolutely be like, oh, I want a character based on this archetype. Now let me build out in both directions to follow
Right.
the rules. you
That's
know?
true.
But that's like a weird.
2d10 for your personality selection.
Wow.
The best at rolling doubles.
Don't build a character for that. Whatever you do.
I could have, but I didn't.
You should
No, because literally every double you're going to roll for the next 3 months has
Yeah.
been rolled
But I
today.
definitely had an option from Reality Shaper, Probability Insight, Boost using power, use your max die. If you roll doubles, you may also attack using your mid die. I
would
will
be
never
cool.
roll doubles
Nope, never
ever again.
Not if you gamify it. Like if you put that text anywhere in your character sheet, then it won't actually happen.
Alright, so 1 and 1 for your personality selection. Lone wolf. Natural leader. Can I re-roll these?
Yes, reroll them.
Okay.
What about 10 and 11? How are they?
Stoic and alluring.
can also just choose one.
Yeah, I might have to.
Okay, that's done.
You went with natural leader
Yes.
on yours? Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Personality. Principles.
On that.
Did I skip something? I don't think I did. Oh, yeah, I did. Sure did.
That's interesting. One of the elemental red abilities is purification. Remove all bonuses and penalties from the scene. You cannot use the ability again this scene.
Whoa, that's interesting.
And that sounds really cool, and it sort of fits with who she is. The question is, like, I'd want to tweak it to sort of like start the countdown where it's like, yes, I've hindered people, I've started their stuff sparking, and like I've gotten the cracks in the armor, and this doesn't remove it, like this detonates everything, where it's just like I send out a pulse of entropic energy and things just start exploding.
Is there any kind
That's
of...
not
Yeah.
that though. It makes me think of that.
Right, that would be cool.
There's probably something that would work. Like maybe, yeah, Field of Hazards. Hinder any number of targets in the scene using probably either gadgets or metal. Use your max and min. If you roll doubles, also attack each target using your mid die. That's the sort of thing where it's like you send out that wave of energy and
Right.
and everybody just sort of like feels it in their bones. But if I get lucky, then things also explode.
Right.
I'm debating between jovial and cheerful.
Okay.
This is a great summary of you.
What's your debate here?
Which one to go with? I don't know. So like I could defend an ally or I could boost an ally. Those are the biggest differences between them. I'm not sure which way.
What speaks to you? What adjective?
They're so
Happy emotions,
they're so
apparently.
similar.
Happy is the emotion that speaks
happy
to her.
little trees. I don't know if you know this.
Feel like cheerful.
Cheerful?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jodie, you and I have talked about my character specifically.
Yeah.
You're on health. You're way ahead of me. In
Maybe.
personalities.
Like I might have to go back and do other
Tell
things.
me more about what would you think would be a great personality for my character?
Personality for you?
Yeah. Surprisingly, this is the
Shoot,
hardest
dude.
thing for me to choose.
This should be like.
This whole time I've been thinking of that sentence
I
you
mean,
said. We were
so-
like, Jodie, you and I have talked about Dune.
Probably.
Not a lot, actually.
Not a lot. No, I've convinced Jodie to try to read
maybe 5
it.
or 6 hours every week.
It's. Why do you pay me? Oh, because I talk about Dune a bunch. No, that's how I got the job. That's
Dune now.
Like it seems like natural leader fits.
right. We already have a natural leader.
I've played
But I do
RPGs
like
with you.
natural
It seems
leader.
like impulsive is probably a really good choice for you.
Yeah, that's true.
That's delightful.
Impulsive.
In a PC, I find that quite delightful. The reason
Yeah.
why is because
You also play that every time you
That's
play
true.
a PC.
I'm gonna go explore this haunted house on my own.
Exactly.
Oh, Paul's dead. Let's roll a new character for him, I guess.
it makes the plot happen.
I mean, impulsive is pretty good. We already have a natural leader, so I didn't want to overlap us. Like, I know it's not super important, but also.
You could do sarcastic.
That's me, not the character.
Yeah, no,
But
that's what I
people
think
really,
too.
like, you've built up a character that everybody kind of like wants to hang out
Well,
with, so I don't know if you want to
Fast
go
talking,
sarcastic.
maybe. Alluring actually kind of works
Yeah,
too.
that's actually
Alluring?
really
Jen's
not
gonna
bad.
pick jovial or cheerful. Pick whichever one she doesn't.
Like, alluring is interesting for the character.
because you're like a rock star.
So is impulsive,
That's fair.
right? Yeah.
Arrogant is possible.
It's
but
not- it's
like,
not the
People
character.
like you.
yeah.
Right. Decisive is also like, I don't know.
I think impulsive is better than decisive.
Right. No, I think so too.
I kind of like alluring.
Kind of like alluring.
That's really cool.
That's kind of cool. Like, you just have an aura of you, like, you're kind of a rock star. People are kind of curious about you. You're really charismatic. Like, you talk yourself in and out of
I'm sold on it.
situations.
So this is
Give a side gig as like a blue jeans model.
maybe just counting.
I feel like
that
I
was
have
random.
a lot
He
of
didn't
health.
care.
Did I do this wrong?
My side job is counting.
Oh.
Okay.
No one's gonna get it but you. And then we will make up a quality.
Josh the Valiant says Gaston is arrogant and well liked. Just
You're just not by the viewer.
not by the viewer. That's true.
Yeah, so that's it. And then
So now you got red abilities.
red abilities. I gotta get there first. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go field of hazards. That sounds
Abilities
exciting.
are good.
How's it coming?
Because that gives me an attack
feel
one.
like
and
I
it gives
have
me a
too much
hit.
health.
Start looking for there it is.
Why?
Yeah.
Because 35 seems like a really big number for my 6-year-old.
You're an alien.
I know I'm an alien, but like we were talking earlier about how like we didn't really see him as having any special physical characteristics,
Right.
Except for like
Being able to
bubbles.
fly and swim and make bubbles.
Yeah. I don't know. He's not particularly tough or strong or fast.
Yeah.
Or acrobatic.
He can fly. He just, trouble comes at him. He's just like, whoop.
How did that 35?
So, out of the following numbers, 8, maximum number of your red status die, which is a 12. Maximum number of your choice of any athletic power or mental quality. I have an 8 in alertness. All of my qualities, I think, are 8s.
Ah, so this is why then. This is why you've got higher health.
Yeah.
Not really
No, I have to
you
know what this
physically,
does.
it's you mentally.
Okay.
Right. So you're very, very like resilient.
Yeah.
And stubborn. So that's why your red
Where
die
other
is
people would
high.
stop.
Right. All of it's based
He
on
keeps
your mental
going.
abilities. It's not like your.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
And a roll of a
Red
D8.
abilities
It just seems like a
refer
really
to
big
power
number.
and
Right.
quality categories. Must
Control.
have a die assigned with power or quality in that category.
What did you do for your retcon?
Skip it. I skipped it.
Oh.
What was I supposed to do for retconning?
So for section 6, right?
I missed it because
That's
it was
all
at
right.
the bottom of the page.
That's all right. It'll let you tweak stuff around too.
Oh, like, okay. I'm gonna go back and look at that at the end,
Yeah.
as as is fair for retconning.
Well, that's the end.
I still have a principal
This is definitely gonna happen. This is definitely.
from my. I didn't skip to the end and pick it.
Oh,
Or-
principle comes from archetype. Background.
I didn't pick one for my archetype. Yes,
Like
That's right.
which
you
is
skipped
what.
that.
Yeah.
No.
That's cool.
I just own somebody. It was pretty dark.
Wait, but do you have
Psychic powers?
psychic powers?
Yes. I have suggestion.
Oh, your
Yeah.
suggestion.
Tara asks if you are
That's
role-playing Yasi.
My whole thing.
No, I'm not.
If you feel like you're role-playing Yasi.
Psychic
No,
power
I don't think so.
suggestion.
Like,
That's his whole.
don't
That's
know.
the only.
Maybe.
No,
Like,
that
power.
well, I
definitely.
don't like. I want
And you're
the
super
character to be
alluring.
like
Yes, sir. Whatever you say, sir.
to be interpreted as a 6-year-old,
Ha.
That's
but then
gotta be
also
it.
kind of irritated
Dire
by it.
control.
So like,
Yeah.
Where did I see that?
Right.
Yeah,
Two
so
red
I'm going to use my retcon to switch close combat with metal. So metal is my D12
Nice.
and close
That's
combat's
cool.
my D8.
Yeah. That's super cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a swap around like that. That's gonna screw everything up, but that's fine.
That's
Um,
what you do.
okay. So we just gained the red ability dire control,
Okay.
where I just go, "You're mine now. You're my minion now." That just happens. I just completely dominate someone.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's dark, but that's why it's a red ability. I think it's the only one that fits inside.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
In those things, or
Because your character is very good at manipulating people psychically. if you-
also kind of like Final Wrath.
What is that?
Attack using your quality. Use your max plus min dice and take a major twist.
That's cool. Oh, but just being able to control someone is so
Dire
versatile.
control
Oh,
so
no, I
awesome.
could do both. I just have to take 2 red. Do they have to be from different ones?
Oh,
I don't think they do.
Choose 2 red abilities. Red abilities are grouped by power as you have.
no, as long as you
assigned.
pick from the category of the power quality you'll use
That's
for
happening.
Right.
it. So so definitely then.
I will take summoned allies. Thank
Right.
you very
I
much.
may be slightly building this wrong.
Yeah, red abilities are really good. So
Use power in your pool and create
'Cause
a
you're
number
dying.
of D6 minions equal to your mid die.
Yeah, no, that's the one you take.
Yes, please.
Summary abilities can only be used with specific power.
I'm looking at
qualities instead of-
esoteric principles
Yeah.
for my last principle. And I'm kind of going back and forth between the only 2 that seem to like
Alright.
fit at all, being immortality or what was the other one? Space.
See what my
immortality seems kind of delightful for you
Yeah, it does.
because it
Right. Because
like
like
that.
I'm just always going to look like a
Right,
6-year-old
it
human.
speaks to your inner
Because-
Peter Pan-liness.
Yeah.
Wow, that's underwhelming. Are we allowed to re-roll when we get a 1 on health? This is the first time I've for the health phase that I've rolled to die. So
Oh.
if we get a re-roll every time,
That's true.
I'll give
Sure.
you 3 of whatever.
Yeah, it says you can reroll once during each phase of the process. This is a phase.
get worse than the
We'll
one.
trade
It is literally the whole face.
That I think is a 6.
It is a
which
6.
Is much better than a 1.
Okay.
So the option of a 1 didn't fit with your idea for your hero. So you rerolled the die
Shockingly, no.
once during that phase. This says that right here in the
Shoot, I
rules.
should have rerolled my 7.
You can if you want less health.
I mean, like, I don't know. It discourages me from being like, I'm in the middle of combat.
Right.
Oops. Losing pages here. Like a total Jenn over here. I'm losing pages left and right.
Pages everywhere.
I have to look at other stuff. Definitely.
32 hit points. That's respectable.
I feel like maybe this is a hint that I should use this. It's shown up in 2.
I like how one of the close combat characters has fewer hit points than a 6-year-old.
Are any characters going to have more hit points than me?
Don't know yet. Don't know how the calculator can get there yet.
Like,
They
I
might not.
have a D12 in my red zone, so
I know
like,
you do.
that makes a big difference.
It does. That is the source of a great many hits.
Did you take Final Wrath?
No, not yet. Do you want to take it?
I might. It's showing
No,
up
that's
in
fine.
like 2 of the types that I can pick from. Might just go with it. Because it works really
Yeah,
well
it-
with the idea of Principle of Great Power.
Right.
How do I take physical quality?
Did you take the principle of great
Social
responsibility?
quality, so I'm gonna look at it.
Didn't. I did it wrong.
Oh no. They're supposed to come together.
Oh no.
Right now? Never
All
mind.
right. Yeah.
With great power comes great wrath. Oops.
Uh-oh.
Did it wrong.
Oh no. Sounds really bad.
No.
Let's see. Did I do all the things right?
Yeah, you got 2 principles now.
Yeah, I have 2
All of
principles.
the
Can I have one of the
associated.
character sheets?
Yeah,
I'll
totally.
Actually,
You're gonna actually fill in?
Nice. All the
It's just
associated
a way of
abilities
keeping
and
you
stuff.
track.
Yeah, I feel like that's how I need to start doing it. At this point.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
do
I've
it.
just got a
Did you
massive
do the
numbers
retcon?
that
Did
may
you
or may not
swap
mean
them?
anything.
Yeah.
I will. I'm
Yeah.
looking at them right now. So like the retcon feels less important because I didn't roll dice. I
They
just
do
picked.
kind of like fish.
Yeah,
things I
but
wanted.
it lets you, like,
It lets
what
me
Chris
see
used it for
in-
was something really interesting where he had everything he wanted except he
Finishing
felt
blow.
like
Attack
his
using your
character was
max
built in
die.
a way that he
Remove
wouldn't
any
want it. It
number
would be
of
less fun for him
penalties
to
from
play.
the target.
Yeah.
So he swapped that
Add
around.
your
And Jenn
to
used
the
it
attack
because
for each removed penalty.
she chose all the different like archetypes and backgrounds she wanted, but the principles
Which
she
is
wanted
kind
was
of
from
great.
somewhere else.
Well, that's going to work really well.
And so
on
that's
either
like
of
one of the
everyone.
best things
Yeah.
to do for
Right.
it. But if you're really happy with all that other kind of stuff, you can
No.
just
Well,
gain an extra red ability,
Yeah, and I might.
right? Or
Having a particularly sad day, and you're like, yeah,
add a D6 power or quality of your
okay,
choice.
health.
Yeah, I might do that actually
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
as well or
Right.
instead.
Those are both really great.
Yeah.
Can you come with a calculator?
I'll just do it.
Finesse.
Addition for you.
Physical.
8 plus the maximum of your red
Do
status die.
Which is a 6.
Okay.
14.
And then the maximum of your choice of any one athletic power or mental quality.
Right.
Oh, I gotta remember what my mental qualities are then.
They should be on your sheet. Yeah,
Creativity is one, I believe.
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Well, can I have one of the character
So
sheets?
24.
And also, like, I have this open right now. Always.
Can I have one of the character
Yeah.
sheets?
Mental. Creativity, yes.
Yep. So you're at 24 right now.
That's my highest.
Okay.
Great. And that's it.
Nope.
Oh, and the roll of a d8.
Or you can take a 4.
7.
Nice. Even better.
So 31.
Knocking things over.
Cool.
Yeah. So that would be right.
Mm-hmm.
My health range for green because that's full health. Total health. Oh, to
Yeah, and then
determine.
the chart. That's the max.
I see now.
Right.
All right.
So control powers. Don't have any of those.
Total health is 31.
Right. So green zone is.
So this should say total.
You took final wrath.
Or max. I mean, max is also correct.
But you don't use that word anywhere up here.
Yes, then correct. Sounds good to me.
You took final wrath.
I did.
Okay, no, that's
I mean,
fine.
you may also take
No,
final
I know,
wrath,
but
it's
You're going
not
to be
a-
really angry in the red zone and blow stuff up if you want.
so okay. Do I want to take major regeneration, which makes me
I think lieutenant regeneration might be a little bit.
major regeneration? I want to take it's more appropriate for the character, I think. But where is it? Physical quality, finishing blow, which is you attack using your max die, remove any number of penalties, and just keep punching the thing with your mid die for every penalty you removed. So you're like, he's going to stack up penalties on things, and then you go, oh, I'm going to take those away from you, and also your hit points, just forever.
That is a really good thing to coordinate on.
Yeah.
Like if the two of you, and actually,
It
I mean,
turns
it's-
out that
it's
I
red,
actually
but-
built myself for that also.
right, yeah, you
better.
have two teammates who could put a bunch of penalties on enemies. So
Yeah, that's the one.
if you want to make a plan of attack that involves you doing that, it's pretty cool.
finishing blow. Cool. So now I get to retcon a thing, and the thing I want to retcon is, I want to swap vitality and signature weapon, maybe. So, this can all go in place. Oh, actually, no, I'm right on the page. Why am I doing this? Gain an extra red ability. Cool. Swap any 2 dice within your powers, within your qualities. Okay, so you can't swap between powers and qualities.
I may have cheated myself out of a little bit of hit points.
Oh,
One athletic power. No, because my power is agility and my quality is acrobatics. Yeah, that makes sense. That works.
sweet.
Yeah.
Do you want a character sheet yet, man? No. All the cool kids have character sheets.
I'm not a cool kid. Come on. You know that. And also, no. So I'm going to have to go through all of this again. and
Yeah,
be
no,
like,
definitely.
No, I made a bunch of notes. That's what I did. There's a character in here somewhere,
Yeah.
but like, no, we're not ready to put this on paper. And also, my handwriting's terrible, so I'm going to type it.
That is how I feel.
My handwriting is
I mean,
the
I'm
worst.
definitely going to retype this too.
Oh, yeah,
but-
totally.
I don't know.
Like, this is enough where I go persuasion. I don't care. That's fine. That's enough.
I mean, I could make it look really nice.
Could.
That's not.
Not gonna.
It's gonna be retyped, and you'll have your character picture
Yeah.
on
Okay,
It'll be
that's
super cool.
reasonable.
it. Yeah.
It's gonna be
So
super.
this will help me remember what I forgot, which I'm sure is something,
Yes.
because that's how I make characters. I go back and go, oh, I've been playing for 4 sessions, and my character's not doing all the things they should be able to do.
I'm bumping up. My retcon is going to be to bump up my red status from a 10 to a 12,
Nice.
which is thematic for
Yeah.
the character.
That's good. And that bumps up your max HP as well.
Right, which just helps. But like all the other things, like that makes sense for the character
Right.
also. Health. Add up the following numbers. 8. Oh, God. Maximum number of your red status die. And it was 12, so we're already up to 20. Mental quality. Yeah, so that's 10. So I'm already up to 30. And roll a d8. Come on, 8. 7. 37.
All right, you're not the highest, Jodie.
Oh, good. Good. Like, I didn't want to be. Might have rerolled
Yeah,
it?
that's real ridiculous.
I want to make sure that I did it right. So
No, that's, yeah, you did.
8 plus 12 for my red status die. The maximum of your choice of any one athletic or mental quality. It's either banter or persuasion. Doesn't matter. They're 10s. This one.
Okay, cool.
Oh no,
Now
they're not.
I get to read.
Oh no, that doesn't work.
So
I'm
I
gonna
like,
lose some
I like
dice.
how this works out. Principle of bubbles. You have an affinity to or a love of bubbles. You can interact with bubbles with ease. So difficult for everyone else.
I like that one of the last steps is, okay, now go back through and rename
I
the
lied.
abilities to be more thematically
It's only 35.
appropriate.
Yeah, that's
Then I do-
going to take me like a
I
day.
I
to
misread
get
it.
everything
Are you
right.
that
Oh,
high
I've got
Tied.
so many right now
Nice.
already
That's
to
fine.
go.
I'm fine with
That's
that.
Great.
As long as
I'm still not happy with that.
as long as I'm happy about having as much hit points as a 6-year-old.
I'm immortal. Come on.
Yeah.
Immortal alien 600-year-old.
Well, Bar just is subscribed on there. So everybody say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do like Christopher fills in Jim's new hero identity, Chrono Rangers No More, and I'm like, I know both those people. Those are both humans I know. Christopher's in the other room, and Jim is in New Jersey, and also traveling through time.
Forever.
Forever, probably. We're all traveling through time forever, Paul.
Yeah, like if you stop, that's kind of terrifying.
All right. Cool. So now we all pull out our phones and send reference material to Adam.
Well,
It's super boring.
once everyone's ready to talk about their character.
Oh, I'll start talking about my character now.
I know, everyone's, I think, finishing.
No,
Oh,
I'll start talking.
Yeah, no, we better give him like 20
You know
minutes.
what? I'll start talking about
All right, start talking about Dune.
No, because I'm not going to ruin that thing that we can just print up because
Let me tell you about the Bene Gesserit.
they actually have no, it's not a reference to the Jesuits, strangely, but you know, okay. They're a very interesting group of people.
No, I know. There's a reason why I said that specific thing.
It's because it's a thing I've definitely said to you in the past. It's been light on killing Jodie. It's like,
We've been focusing too much on our own things and not talking to each other. So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely that.
yeah.
Cheer 100, Jodie breathe. Cheer 100, Jodie breathe.
Yeah, we're going to have a cheer system that is also a
Boost to
first
Jodie
aid.
breathing.
A first aid cheer system.
if you cheer enough, like you can cheer for Team Jodie or Team Not Jodie, right? And like every time.
Team Not Jodie is everyone else making
Right,
Jodie
exactly.
laugh.
Yeah.
And so if Jodie has a surplus, then you have to pause for 5 seconds saying something funny to Jodie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do that.
No, it's so hard,
He
right?
can't.
Just has to not say.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Speedy RX says Team Jodie. You're spared by Speedy.
I mean, I guess I could start doing
It
these
has
things.
my backstory in it.
You threw it on the ground?
I
Because her dad's
dropped
not a
it
phone.
when we
with you?
were fighting
Right,
over
well,
it.
makes
I'm
Dad's not a phone.
When we were fighting.
gonna- Don't mind me.
I guess
Yep,
I
dude.
suppose.
And then you can talk about your character.
Correct.
Says Team Paul.
Nice.
Team Paul.
Wait, is everyone else divided, or is everyone else their own team?
Been two.
Or is it
There's been
Team
two-
Jodie and Team everyone else?
There's Team Jodie, Team everyone else, and Team Paul.
Okay,
Rest of players.
sure.
It's unclear what the chat will do.
Yeah. Paul's not going to make Jodie laugh.
No, that's not
he's
true.
He's not allowed. Nope, he's not allowed.
He will.
And also,
No, I'm super serious, Jodie.
yeah, no, he's.
look at how grim he is.
I'm regularly grim and morose.
And or morose.
Right. Like some blend.
Jenn has two
Like-
words.
Arnonoff
blend.
and Josh the Valiant are both hashtag Team Jenn.
Awesome.
I'm actually hashtag Jodie. Team Jodie.
Hashtag Team Jet.
No.
Bard is Team Jenn.
Yeah.
I got yelled at
Results are
last time
coming
I was on
in.
Team Jenn, which was trying to make Maggie not win a game.
What was it?
I don't remember what
It was Fate of the Other Gods.
Oh,
was it?
Yeah.
The game that
and
Maggie
I-
always wins?
Well, because Ray and I were on a
Okay.
team together, and
Oh, yeah.
things were starting to go very awry for us, and we
Right.
decided it just became no, they were going awry for you. And so then your strategy switched to what if we just make Ray and Jen beat Maggie, because Maggie was the only one not on a team, and she was like,
happened
I got
again.
this, it's fine.
This happened again. Maggie and Chris Kirkman and I were playing Fate of the Elder Gods, and the entire game was make Maggie not win. Not win or make Chris Kirkman win. And I was doing literally nothing to better my own situation, and they were just self-sabotaging the entire time. And I was like, I could win. I have to pull some stupid
Yeah.
crap, but I can win. And I was like, I had 2 cards that were like, just re-roll whatever dice. And I was like, I'm gonna re-roll these. if if only this, I'm gonna re-roll it. And then I won.
Yeah.
Kirby was like, what the hell? And I was like, you designed the game, man.
Yeah.
I did it.
No, it was really nice when we were playing because Ray's competitive side started coming out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So like Ray and I were on a team, and I was like, "No, Ray, I'll give you the option. Like, we can use this against Maggie
This
or
was the
not.
night
I
we went
know
ghost
they're
hunting.
rooting for it and whatever." And she was like, "Do it,
Do it. Do it.
I was like,
do it.
"Yes, I love it."
It's real fun.
Ray gets like fun competitive.
Yeah.
Because you don't expect it from her because
Oh,
she's
it's
so
so
sweet
good.
the rest of the time.
It's so good.
She gets that way also about cheese sticks.
What?
She gets really competitive with cheese sticks. Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
let this cheese stick beat me. When we went to Philly, we went and got cheese sticks.
Okay.
She was just like, I'll have a 12-inch cheesesteak for myself and also a giant slice of pizza. I'm gonna wrap the pizza around the cheesesteak and then eat it. And I was like, I am a big fat guy, and I'm gonna do half of that. Wow, we're gonna do exactly one half of that. Like, that's too far. And then I think she finished before all of us as well. Like, she just unhinged her jaw.
She's real into cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, like ever since she
Like-
came back from that trip, the
Oh, yeah.
cheesesteak.
Yeah.
just-
And
that's her
anytime
jam.
Ray and I are at a convention together, I will go find some weird regional food to eat with her. That's fine. As long as it's not seafood. Seafood's gross.
What?
Seafood's gross, and honeydew's the best melon. Fight me.
Bring it on.
Oh man.
Fight you in the streets.
Everyone is
Come at
shocked
me,
at
bro.
Ray's cheesesteak competitiveness. It's the twist of the afternoon. And Boy Bar says that she says, "That's my secret, Matt. I'm always hungry."
I like it. So I've got half of my abilities renamed.
Nice.
I actually like a lot of the
Yep.
names that exist.
Yeah, you
Some
can
of
stick
them,
with
yeah,
them or
some of
rename
them
them.
work, but like not quite right is now happy little trees.
Yep.
Negative likelihood is creative block. Never happened is edit undo, and summoned allies is copy and paste.
That's great.
That's pretty good.
I'll change the sidekick
Dave
ones.
says, "Okay, now team anybody but Matt, aka Team Crab."
Listen, my old roommate Dave. At least he didn't, bring seafood back to the hotel room at Gen Con, where I die.
So for the qualities, one
Yeah.
of the things you do when you pick your, what is it, your personality?
Yes.
Is that you get to just create a quality
Yes.
that is that. So like I picked cheerful quality, so I just need to come up with a name of any quality that is specific
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
And
Right, I don't-
is cheerful or is just specific to me
Specific
in
to
some
you.
way? Okay.
Like mine was Living Weapon for Starlight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'll have to think on that one a little bit. Cool. I think this worked. And I think it worked with one of my.
Yeah, I hope so.
No, I mean my backstory, not.
Character creation entirely.
I think
Oh,
this game
God, I
fun.
hope
I think
so.
this worked. I don't know. No, I mean I think it worked out well with my backstory. Hashtag full thoughts.
I lost it. I lost it forever.
don't lose it forever.
I
need it
like
next
I
week.
wasn't looking at this. There it is. I wasn't looking at this in a way. Like I just had these kind of broken to chunks, so I put them back in order and was like, oh, I have no idea what the actual order is for these things. They're
unknowable.
numbered. It's unknowable. Yeah.
Are people
Loosen
at
up by
the
rolling your
reading and figuring stuff out stage, or are you just at like filling in stuff where we could start?
Oh,
giving
I'm at filling in stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, then let's start. Jen,
Let's start.
Okay.
Jen.
tell us
Alright.
tell us your character. Now
Okay.
that you've built your character, tell us everything.
So my character's name is Barb Ross, and her her hero name is the concept artist,
Nice.
and her backstory, because I've already got it written.
Please.
So
Reveal.
because she was always creative, she began painting at a young age. She did it in her spare time because she was an only child, and so she liked to paint the pictures of her imaginary friends. One day, her imaginary friend became as real in the room as you or me. It talked, played with toys, everything. As she got older, she stopped painting imaginary friends and eventually began painting people in the books she read, her parents, her friends, historical figures, everyone. And they too felt almost real to her. One night she had a dream about someone, but it felt almost like a memory. So the next day she painted the face from her dream. As she grew older, it happened again and again. Eventually she realized that she was reliving memories of her past lives. Eventually she reconciles the ability to draw up a past life, paint the image of that person in her mind. They emerge into existence, do whatever she needs. Or as we've constructed here, she can also paint other items too, useful items, useful people, whatever. So that's kind of her backstory, her name, her alias. What else do you want to know?
Who's the player? You didn't fill that in yet.
Who's the player? Oh no, who's the player?
Jen, you a player.
Yeah. What are your principles and
Sure.
like how do they work?
So I have the principle of great power. The idea that this is a very strong and can be overwhelming power, and so I have to work very hard to balance the ability to temper this power so that it doesn't become too overwhelming for myself or for the world around me, because it could influence everything, because I'm essentially creating realities around me, and if I'm not careful, I could alter the actual reality around me.
Yeah.
And then my other principle is the principle of mastery. And it's the idea that I've thoroughly studied my powers, and I'm very proud of my mastery over those powers.
Sweet.
So,
That's super cool.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. Tell us about your character.
So, Peter Erikson, the working class hero, hourly rage, is he's a strength bard, right? So he's fine with getting up and punching stuff, but the thing that is special about him, that's actually mystical about him, is that he has the ability to suggest and manipulate people. And like he's famous enough, but whatever, like whenever he's being a superhero, the idea is that like, no, people just don't recognize him now. He's probably not going to change clothes at all. Like it's some street clothes and a bandana or something. Adam and I talked about having him be effectively, he's a Bob Dylan or Bruce Springsteen, and he's got a red bandana in his back pocket, and then he just takes that out, and it's also a bandit mask. Like it's just a red bandana with holes cut in it,
Nice.
and that just works because now the glasses are off and it's fine, and no one recognizes him at all, and that is the superhero costume
Nice.
for some reason. But yeah, he has the principles of equality and strength. So equality, most importantly, because he is literally the working class hero. So he is about things being fair for people that are not necessarily taken care of by society and things like that. And strength because of the rage. Like sometimes he is just strong, and sometimes that means that he's going to break a thing or have, unintended consequences when he's being angry about things. And hopefully he's being angry with a guitar in his hands. Mm-hmm. But sometimes he's being angry with a pipe wrench in his hands, and that's bad for a lot of people around him. Specifically, finishing blow is the best and most accurate thing when in red. Just keep attacking a thing until it dies, which is awesome.
Does your pipe wrench have a name?
Not yet. Oh, it will.
Nice.
It's gonna take. It takes me a minute. I'll have some inspiration.
That's right. What are your principles?
Quality and strength.
Quality and strength. Right. Cool.
Yeah.
So, Juno Griggs, whose superhero name is going to be Mishap, is from an alternate universe where instead of Rose Griggs being a Chaos Witch who sent some shrapnel into Unity's mom, she was just a person who was sort of a weirdness magnet. And she would the kind of person who'd walk down the street and there'd be, a gateway to another realm, and she'd also get hit by a meteor, but the meteor would be, instead a microcosm of tiny little people who desperately wanted her to solve a problem for them. And when she had a kid, that was passed on to Juno, and her mother never really had any interest in figuring out if she had powers. She just sort of accepted it. Juno was not that person. She decided that she was going to take charge of her destiny and stop being, the victim of the weirdness. And her powers, for lack of a better description, were always based around things went wrong. And when Oblivion happened, she started training after the fourth time she was a hostage in a bank robbery. And then she decided, the next time a villain comes along, I'm not going to be that person. And the next villain was Oblivion. And she got hit by an entropy wave. It sort of soaked into her instead of killing her. And suddenly everything was just dialed up to 11. She can break just about anything now. Machines easily, but if she pushes, it can be people. Stitches come undone. Reality starts to fray.
Oh gosh, this is me.
So, she tries not to do that, and and she can also fix just about anything, including things she has no business fixing. And during the fight, she just got more and more powerful because there was a lot of unmaking energy being thrown around until she just ripped a hole through universes and started falling through realities and landed here. And everything's slightly different, there's dad's burgers instead of mom's, and everything starts with schmoes for some reason. But it's similar enough. It's similar enough that there's a lot of points of similarity, but there are heroes here who can teach her how to control this, and there's a lot of villains that need things to go wrong in their lives.
Yeah.
Blue Bard wants to know, but can she break dance?
I'm pretty sure she can. She's very agile.
And somebody from
No, the puns are amazing.
She's both agile and acrobatic, so yes, at some point she will absolutely break dance.
Yes.
Perfect.
What are your principles?
So I've got principal of the team, so I'm, if not the leader of this team, certainly someone who's willing to step up. And principal of the gearhead, which I'm thinking about renaming into principal of the jury rig, because it's all about knowing the general state of repair or function, but for me that's more on the breaking side of it's I always know just about how broken something is, because the minor twists are what just shorted out and what just blew up.
Yeah. That's cool.
What's that smell? Where did that blue smoke come from?
And I'm making a hero. I made a hero rather, named Bubbles. It's a nickname that was assigned to him by people kind of naturally, as you might have guessed. In kind of a mundane, staying on the down low side of life sort of thing, he goes by the name Steven. Doesn't really have a last name, doesn't really need one. And he was traveling through the galaxy and happened upon Earth and decided to stick around for a little bit and see what it was about. And then his ship broke and he doesn't have a way out. And so that's why he's here now. He is an alien, as we've talked about. He has the principle of bubbles, and which is great. And that's going to be the solution to all of his problems, probably, realistically. And then he has the principle of immortality, and that is just a feature of who he is. He's going to live a long time, and essentially forever for humans.
Is he ever going to grow up? Is he a Toys R Us kid?
Yeah, no, I mean, he wants to grow up because humans treat him bad, but also he doesn't get to. This is what maturity looks like for his race.
I feel like one of your minor twists should be like, what problem cannot be overcome by bubbles?
It essentially is.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah. So, so that's the general
Very cool.
lad of him.
I like it. So the final question I have for all of you is, how do you know each other?
Oh.
So we kind of touched on a potential connection. So
We make weird stuff anonymous
Right.
in a weird church basement.
I mean, like, so I envision Barb being like maybe early 40s, and let's be real, she's a little bit of hippie. It's fine, everything's good. She owns an art gallery.
She's an art teacher.
She's an art
You
teacher.
have to have
Like,
long skirts and beads. Macrame is required to be an art teacher.
so she likes to hike. She likes to be outdoors. And you said that your character also is like acrobatic.
Yeah,
and,
like acrobatic, probably
and
does parkour.
athletic types of yeah, and see, and I kind of envision her doing like warrior dash things and all those types of like outdoor type activities. So I assume maybe we would do that
Yeah, that
together
makes
as
sense,
a
that
way to
makes
like
sense.
hang out, blow off steam, that kind of stuff. So
I'm definitely,
break
Juno's
things.
the kind of person, like I said, she lives in a houseboat, probably gets a lot of her food from, places that aren't going to miss food.
yeah,
Nice.
very earthy. I dig it.
I don't have a way that I'm attached to you all yet.
You said your
Does-
ship's broken.
My ship's broken.
Someone
Why is your
sort
ship
of fixed
broken?
things.
Or
Maybe broken.
maybe broken.
Not sure.
That's actually kind of hilarious.
Yeah. I would
Well, I
like,
was slipping through realities. I accidentally touched a flying saucer, and then it also fell out of the sky.
Oops.
Oops, all explosions.
I don't know that it makes good friends necessarily.
No,
It makes
but,
for
like,
circumstances to why you
But that's
would
something
be
to
here.
overcome,
Sure.
to become
Yeah.
friends after
I,
that.
I
right?
imagine the mishap reacted
We
like
realized-
that
Like, you're kind of
raccoon
cool,
that
but
bites
you
that
broke my ship.
cat's ear in that gif. It was just like, sorry.
Yeah. Because clearly, like, you're all
Yeah, no,
like
that's
comic book heroes, so you're all
Yeah.
like decided to do good stuff.
yes. Right.
So even if you're like, oh, I'm annoyed that our realities collided and you broke my ship or whatever, then
Yeah.
you're like, but we realized we all want the same thing. So I don't know, something like there's
Yeah, no,
reasons
that,
why.
That,
you know.
that works fine. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, mine's kind of the hardest, I think, despite the fact that there's being an alien. To be like, why?
You're a musician?
Yeah,
Have you done gigs at my gallery openings?
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, that works.
Like the Saturday night
Like-
gallery opening? Maybe you're the musician that did an open mic night or something?
And then some horrible thing happened. You know, when your gallery burned down.
And galleries do have free food.
Yeah, see?
That's
Good
very
point,
true.
Adam.
There we
You know
go,
what?
yeah,
We all
nice.
wound up there, except for the alien, because you're not
the
allowed
alien.
in. There was champagne. You can't have that.
I can't have. I mean, I could have that, but also.
No, it's just
But the
sour
thing is,
milk,
champagne
right?
does have bubbles.
That's true.
Oh man.
You're the only person on the planet that's going to get an alienation reference.
Yeah, that's good. Do you work together and do stuff?
Like,
Like sometimes?
I mean,
Self-crime?
we
I
probably
don't
do superhero things
just asking.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay,
think
cool,
Except
yeah.
at this point,
I
we
think
all
absolutely.
know, like, we know the alien, like both sides of our identities.
What? Where are you in the world?
Well, I mean, that's a little up to you, right?
Anyways.
Like, my character definitely lives in a city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, because that's where the rock scene is or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, that probably works for your
It would
character
work for
as well.
art scene. It would work. So it needs to be
It
near
kind of
water.
works for everybody.
Yeah, it's
no,
near
it works
water,
for
but
you
there's
too.
a
I
lot
was
of
gonna say,
places
I
that
need
are
a
near water.
place.
And in all honesty, like if it's not a houseboat, it's an abandoned
Right,
building.
but a
Like,
co-
there's
Right.
a lot of
I like
places
the
Coastal
where-
houseboat.
city.
I
Yeah, I
like
kinda
the
like
vision
that.
of the
A
houseboat.
houseboat
though.
in Boston, like,
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
out of the question.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
I
I'll
think
ponder this. That gives me some stuff in my
Because, like, it
mind.
even makes sense for you.
Yeah.
That's, like, being in a city is way easier to disappear in as a, like,
Yep.
as anything.
So
Yep.
are you enamored with things in the way that a child is? Like, kind of like, oh,
Right, but for
this big building,
but for
cool.
another
Like, is
reason,
it
because
that?
it's something new.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
well, actually, for the same
But
reason.
I mean,
Yeah.
because
like,
you're an alien, so everything's new, so it's still kind of the same
Yeah,
thing as
so,
like a
like-
little kid seeing things for the first time, right?
Yeah. So everything is weird and different than stuff that I'm used to.
Yeah.
Like, technology seems weird and
Yeah.
like kind of simple, but like also like, why did they do it this way?
cities
Why didn't
would
they
be
just do it the way that's
interesting.
clearly the better way?
with bubbles.
One of the things that we could do, though, is that, I mean, if we're all at an art gallery together, we don't necessarily know that we're heroes, or we don't necessarily know that each other are heroes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We all just wind up a place.
We all just wind up at a place, and you and I can know each other ahead of
Yeah,
time,
but
but
we
not
don't
necessarily
know
that
the
we're heroes.
fact-
And then
right.
alien ship crashes, 6-year-old staggers out, making bubbles, and it's like, well, time to put on the hero hats and fight each other.
And then we're like, what the? You too?
Oh, okay.
How many people know you're an alien?
Probably.
Like, do we know?
Yeah, you.
Most importantly.
You all probably know. Like here's the thing I haven't figured out yet. I don't know how my characters like living, like where they live, or like anything. Like
You can.
I could be in a government program, and there could be like some handler that
Men in
is
Black it.
that is posing as a parent to me or something,
Or
Right.
one of these people is.
or one of the, or one of you.
Or you crash.
Or you're
into
living
the
on your own.
spaceship doesn't work, but it still functions as a living space. And
Yeah.
like it is somewhere that is accessible to you, and that's a secret. That's your hideout.
Sure, I mean
Like
I'm fine
that.
with that too. Yeah.
Like that kind of, like.
I mean, depending if your spaceship, if you're fascinated with bubbles and whatnot, your spaceship could look kind of seaworthy-ish. So it could have crash landed out on the coast somewhere, and you two are chilling in houseboats out there with bubbles and.
It's probably sunken.
You know.
It's probably
Right, but that
underneath
doesn't
the
matter
water,
for a
but that
character
doesn't-
that
They can
make
swim
bubbles.
and make bubbles.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
You're like,
Yeah.
and I make
Like, that
a
just
bubble
works.
with air.
Yeah.
Your hideout is the bottom of the ocean.
That's actually.
Basically, yeah.
in your
Yeah.
crashed spaceship.
Yep.
I like it being in like in Central Park. Like it's in the bottom of a lake that no one swims in because it's disgusting. And
But
like
everyone walks by.
but everybody walks by it, and then sometimes this kid's like, boop. It just never comes back up, and people are like, okay.
Music Man suggests that Ermin was trying to rob the gallery, and that you had the opening.
like that.
And that
I like that.
Nice.
I like that.
Like that. That's
It's
cool.
like, oh, not again.
Like, seriously.
Every one of us jumps into action. We're like, wait, really?
I like
Really?
Yeah, I like that.
Really?
We all just show up and we're like,
Like, okay, I
Oh.
could see that. That makes a little bit of sense. What the hell? No, wait, no.
I have questions.
right?
I have a million questions. I gotta go hit something with a pipe wrench. It's fine.
Right.
This is very good. So
It's not the art.
yeah, everyone get their descriptions to Adam. Get their
Yeah,
character
absolutely.
sheets to me. Let me know if anything else occurs to anyone or you want to build this out. But otherwise, we'll next Wednesday at 1
Next
do
Wednesday.
session 1.
Yeah.
Awesome.
1 Central Time.
1 Central.
Yes.
Yes.
Be specific.
1
Be specific.
p.m. Central Daylight Time.
Okay.
Not 1 a.m., 1 p.m.
Correct. At Central Standard Time. That'll mess you up.
Nope. Don't do that.
All right.
All right.
Yay.
Farewell.
Awesome.